Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of GameGorgon Live.
Wow. What is this? We can't edit? We can't make mistakes ever? Well, I guess that's fine because we never make mistakes anyways.
I mean, I have definitely never, ever made a mistake. Also, I just got a text message from my coworker who just said, "You said it was glass." Now I know I know that the audience has no idea what that's about, and it's completely fine. It's completely fine, but it's just saying I'm having fun. Okay, so before we get into hold on, I gotta see my angles this way. This wonderful book here. We did get some stuff from Paizo today that I felt like we should talk about. One, we got two books that came in from Paizo. They shipped us this. So here's the fun thing. Is this is the first one that came in, but it looks like the core rule book. And that scared me because I was like, I own the core rule book. Why would they send that to me? And then you pull off this and you realize that it's the new Ancestry book. And then but yeah, so this is like a little like poster thing of Galarian, of like the star, the space station Galarian, which is cool, which this is super helpful, I know. But it definitely scared me because I was like, why am I getting this? What?
They trolled, basically.
Yeah.
100% intentional. I don't doubt it for a second, but they did that on purpose.
So yeah, we got this book that we're about to talk about. We have the hardback version of it, which is, get that nice brand new open crease sounds.
You got to smell it too. Oh, wait, but it's not going to have the same new book smell. Never mind. Don't smell
it. It does smell new.
Does it really?
Why wouldn't it smell new?
Because normally it's about the paper, and this is too nerdy. We got to abort this conversation.
Okay. The other book that they ended up sending us, which is the Alien Archives 4.
Ooh.
Which Croog and I have talked both on stream, or not on stream, on GameGorgon. I don't know. Privately? Yeah, publicly and privately. I don't know if it actually went publicly, because we did talk about it on GameGorgon, but it might have gotten edited out. That we wish we could do more Starfinder content.
We have said that on GameGorgon probably multiple times.
More so now that I have opened it up randomly to this page, where you can see spoilers, where you can see this big, huge honking guy right here. I don't know how well. I'm kind of bitty right now, which is weird. And his arm is cut off, and his blood is turning into bats that are flying out of his arm, which is pretty awesome.
You would randomly turn to that page. Also, chat wants to make sure that we remind them of what page we're on as we go this time. I think that is a reasonable request, so I told them that we'll do our best.
So we actually, if you could not tell, we also changed up a little bit so that you're going to actually be able to see the full page instead of just a section of the page. That way, you will be able to see the page number for the most part down at the bottom. So there is that. Where do you even remember where we were?
That would have been a really great thing for me to have looked up before we started.
I'm pretty sure we just had finished the flesh warps, not the flesh wraps.
Oh yeah, there were so many people in chat not in chat, in the the comments of the VOD last time that were like, did they say something that made them think that it was flesh wraps? Like, was it a joke or something? I distinctly remember one of you calling them Flesh Wrap Supreme. I'm fairly certain it was Jason, but I'm not 100% positive. And like making a Taco Bell joke, and then we started calling them flesh wraps, but then like I couldn't find it anymore, and so I'm very concerned that I've gone crazy. But what's new?
So everybody, class, we are going to be starting on page 94.
I mean, I'd go to you. I'd take your classes.
So here's the thing. We're gonna start here. There isn't like a ton left to go through because we did skip forward and go through the weapons. So I'm gonna say,
I mean, we do have all of the other previous stuff to
that's what I was gonna say. Depending on what time it is, once we hit page 138 class, we might end up going back and talking a little bit about some of the expanded ancestries that we've already seen stuff about.
Yep.
All right, so Gonzis.
Gonzi children. Oh, this is the okay. So we talked last time about there being a lot of like elemental / alignment based classes.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lawful and a chaos, and then they have all of the elements represented. Right? They have an air, an earth, a fire, and a wind based character. I'm fairly certain, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I haven't gone through this, to be completely honest with you.
Fair enough.
All right, so all I know is this lady has feathers in her hair and a snake tail, dragon tail.
Yeah. It looks pretty neat. I mean, it's definitely not my style, but I'm super into it.
You know, the only thing that kind of bugs me about it is that, like, art-wise, it's weird because I don't know, like, because it's in a dress, like I don't see like the bump of where a tail would come out, like of a human. We all technically have the was it the coccyx, the little tailbone that we all have. I think
I believe you.
So I imagine it would like the bone structure would come from there, but it looks like it's much lower, like it's almost like coming like from underneath them. It's interesting.
Maybe there's another picture that illustrates it better. I mean, I really hope there isn't one where they're just mooning the camera. That would be a little too far, I think. But this doesn't even. Can they not have tails? Is that like an optional thing? Oh,
yeah. Because it's an expanded ancestor.
Oh, of course.
Or not net expanded ancestor. It's a heritage.
Versatile
right?
heritage, yeah.
Versatile heritage. They're an uncommon heritage. So let's see what you get. Level 1, Creative Prodigy. You have a powerful creative drive, useful for prevarication and performance. Prevarication? You all will find out via live why we edit these, because I don't know how to read. Prevarication, sure. You gain the trained proficiency rank in deception and performance. If you're already trained in those skills, you become trained in a skill of your choice in its place, and you also become trained in art lore.
Okay, I mean, this is like, again, standard. We talked about this last time. All of the standard, you get better at this one lore feats. There's not really much to say about it.
Chat is asking about what I teach, because Caring Lizard said, I'm starting up college again. Will Jake be my professor? And I said, yes. What do you want to learn? And chat said, do you teach dungeon mastering? And then Jason has said, Jake, will you teach why you should get your feat bonuses to scare death 101?
Why all intimidation feats should stack upon one another. 101.
Yeah, I'll teach all of those things.
I'm gonna actually scroll back. I want to read the flavor text. We didn't read the flavor.
Oh,
text
sure. For this is page 96. Or where are you starting?
Yeah, I'm going back up to page 94, and I'm just reading the flavor text so that I can
go for it.
Get a feel for it. And also, by the way, I'm looking at my own book because I can't read the one that you're showing.
Yeah, no. I am scrolling up for the chat.
Yeah. I just want to make sure you know. I might be like ahead of you at certain points.
Yeah, that's fine.
Children of Chaos, Gonzis are born of the roiling effervescence of the untamable maelstrom. Jeez, that was flavor. The primal sea of all creation. Their blood crackles with the promise of change and the raw power of creation unshackled. That's so, I don't know what even the word is. It's so meaningful that it's meaningless. Do you understand? Like, there's too much there. Like, what is the roiling effervescence of the untamable? That's just so flowery is the word. Flowery. It's so flowery that it's almost meaningless. Not that I'm complaining. I think it's hilarious. You can basically make that into almost anything that you want it to be. Okay, I'm scrolling back down to page 96, and we're gonna keep going over the feats. And I guess I'll do Gonzi Gaze, which is another level 1 feat. You have unusual sensory abilities passed down from your chaotic forebears. You gain low light vision. If you already have low light vision, you gain dark vision instead. Special, you can select this feat a second time to gain dark vision in addition to low light vision. That seems pretty bad. We've seen a couple of Ancestries have just access to straight dark vision as a level 1 feat, and obviously some of them have access to dark vision inherently. So being able to sync 2 Ancestry feats into getting dark vision seems rough, you know?
I mean, it depends on... I mean, theoretically, there's a lot of base Ancestries that already have low light vision, so this is just getting them dark vision. But if you wanted to do human and this, that gets you low light vision, you know?
Sure.
I think most of the ones that have dark vision are, I think, this is me guessing, are full-on heritages and not... or are full-on Ancestries and not heritages, you know?
So you're saying you don't think there's a heritage that gets dark vision?
I said most. I don't think there's a lot.
Okay. I mean, I buy that. I also don't know. I didn't check, but
oh, because it sounded like you were quizzing me. No.
So, I have PTSD for Pathfinder quizzing. That's not gonna happen.
I love that I'm getting these like this is our first time streaming on YouTube in a really long time.
Yeah.
And so we're getting these little pop-ups as like, hey, we held this message because it had inappropriate language. What should we do? And I just immediately hit show. It's the word.
Why are you saying that? That's just let me rephrase that. The password for all of our accounts online starts with the no, I'm kidding.
No. What I mean by that is like I saw it was coming from Jason, and so I was like,
so all you have to do to get your message approved in our chat is to make a username that starts with the word Jason. That's all you got to do.
Yep, exactly.
Irrepressible, pretty short. This is the 3rd level 1 feat. Your contrary nature means you bounce back with prejudice. When you roll a success on a save against an emotion or fear effect, you get a critical success instead. That's pretty good. Emotion and fear are pretty common. Wait, isn't fear an emotion effect? Why would they list that twice? Or maybe I'm just wrong. I could be wrong. Know. I'm really good at being wrong sometimes.
I mean, this is very much a fighter thing that you can get. I don't know if it's a fighter feat or something you get default as a fighter.
What?
The getting the success to a critical success.
Yeah, that's fear, but that doesn't have or an emotion effect.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me look up the fear trait.
While you do that, I'm going to go to Smashing Tail, which is the next.
Look, listen. Fear effects evoke the emotion of fear. First of all, in the flavor text, it literally says the word emotion. Effects with this trait always have the mental and emotion traits as well. Done. So why did they say and fear? Why not just say emotion?
Look, I'm going to be honest with you, as chat can contest. Paizo and Pathfinder 2 is a little confused about how fear should work.
What? Why?
Because I feel that is the section that has a lot of like weird like missteps, right? Like, okay, the running joke about how I think that some of the feats should stack on it. The fact is that like Scared to Death has no tag for auditory, right? There's no audio, there's no auditory tag for it. But when you read it, it says if they can't hear you,
right, and then it would need the auditory check. Yeah, the trait thing I've noticed is getting a little bit messier as we go on. Like it literally says in the fear trait, effects with this trait always have the mental and emotion traits as well. And so, like at that point, should we as like consumers, like players and GMs together, should we expect to never see the fear or the emotion trait when the fear trait is already there because it's implied in the fear trait? Or should we always expect to see the emotion trait there? And if it's not there, is that an exception? Like it gets a little bit confusing now, right? Why don't they just like make this rule, effects with this trait always have the mental and emotion traits as well? Why don't they just have that be something on their end that they always do and just like make it transparent to us? I don't know why they have to like have all these like traits that trigger other traits, and I don't know. I don't like that part of this.
Vestigial Wings, which is the last one. You
Oh, you didn't do Smashing Tail.
Oh, I didn't do Smashing Tail. Smashing Tail, you have a tail that serves as a potential weapon. You gain a tail unarmed attack that deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage, which I'm pretty sure that's the highest attack damage that you get from a an ancestry like natural weapon. Yeah. I think they're usually D4s, which makes this cool. And has a swipe has a sweep trait and is in the brawling weapon grip.
The sweep is pretty good.
Yeah,
I'd take sweep as a monk if I wanted to be this ancestry. I'd totally take this.
Also, Dayton, I'm watching you. I am watching you. I see you in chat. I see your nonsense right now of your, oh, here we go again with Jake talking about fear. I know what it is. I'm watching. Vestigial Wings, you possess small, weak wings that aid in balance. You gain steady balance and catfall skill feats as bonus feats, even if you aren't trained in acrobatics.
Hold on, wait. I want to respond to something Jason said.
Okay.
Jason said, not all emotion effects are fear effects, which true. It's emotion or fear. I understand that, but since fear always has the emotion like trait, right? If you just say on a save against an emotion effect, then you've already included fear because fear will always have the emotion effect. Does that make sense? So that's just like that's why I'm confused by it.
It's the thing that all fear effects are emotion effects, but not all emotional effects are fear.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
Right. So if they had just said emotion, it would be the same. And that's why I'm like,
it's like saying you can't eat fruit or apples.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Why would you do that?
Why is apples so important, sir? Why
are you calling out apples twice? What did apples ever do to you, dude?
Yeah.
Vestigial Wings, last level 1 feat. You possess. Role-playing games are all about making you feel otherworldly and powerful, but you possess small, weak wings that aid in balance. You gain the steady balance and catfall skill feats as a bonus feat, even if you aren't trained in acrobatics. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope that, again, I haven't read this. I hope that there is a feat later on that allows them to become more useful. Like, it'd be cool if like your wings gain strength that allows you to like, you know, what is fly would be good, but maybe not fly right away. Maybe what is that ability that Leshies can have where like they slow fall basically?
I think it's either slow fall or feather fall or something like that. But yeah, I agree. Like reducing the amount of fall damage or increasing the distance you can travel before you start taking fall damage sort of thing.
Okay, so chat's saying, but demoralize is a fear and not an emotional, and not emotional.
But that can't be true because if it has the fear trait, then it also has the emotion trait because that's what it says. So I mean, that's what it says in the fear trait. So why would it not be the case?
Because we're thinking containers, right? We're thinking emotional. Here are all the things that are in emotional. And just because you take, like, you use the thing fruit, and then you have apples. But then if you have apple pie, right, as a specific thing, I mean, technically, apple pie has apples in it, which is an apple, which is a fruit. So it is a fruit pie, right? Just because there's additional aspects to it doesn't mean that there isn't apple in it.
Yes.
And I think that that's the thing that we need to realize is that it does stack. And Jason did say that it's helpful for people that aren't paying attention so that it's like it's emotional or fear. And if they don't realize that fear is an emotional thing, because I think fear is an effect that gets used more often than say just like an emotional effect as a whole. Like, yes, emotional effect is a wider umbrella, but fear is probably the most likely effect that they're going to have to come across in the emotional thing. I think it would be, I think it would make more sense if it was emotional and fear effects. You know what I mean? Like,
I honestly think we're making it too complicated. I think it really should just be emotion only. I can't. I really don't see the reason to include fear. That really is like it's unnecessary, and I think it creates the potential for more confusing like trait interactions down the line. You know what I mean? It would be just so much easier if they just literally always wrote emotion and fear next to one another and didn't use any other method of describing what traits exist, even if it makes the trait list longer, which I think is what they're trying to avoid. I don't really care. Honestly, when I see a skill that has a bunch of different traits in it, I'm like, ooh, that's neat.
Sorry. Jess was the one that was calling out about it being helpful for emotional and fear. I said Jason, but I saw a J, and again, see now Jess knows that they can put whatever they want to prove it.
Okay. No, we haven't done any level 5. So I'm going to start with Amorphous Aspect, which is, we're still page 96 right now. Your body is supremely flexible. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus on checks to escape or squeeze. Wow. A lot of squeeze stuff in this. And when you critically fail when squeezing, you get a failure instead.
There is a lot. Like, I think they called up Dayton and was like, yo, Dayton, what should we do? And Dayton's like, squeeze effects.
What do we focus
single
on
one?
I mean, I don't. This is okay. I don't think this is the greatest thing in the world. It's also not really that. I haven't seen anything totally. I haven't seen anything really like. What's the word I'm looking for? Like unique. That looks like it would, like there was a lot of thought put into it. Everything's just like you get this thing that already exists, which is fine.
So here's the thing that's gonna be weird is, so the next one is Skillful Tail. You have a tail or similar body part that is always willing to lend a hand, so to speak. You can perform simple interactions with your tail, such as opening and unlocking doors. Your tail can't perform actions that require fingers or significant manual dexterity, including any actions that would require you a check to accomplish, and you can't use it to hold items. So level 5, you're gaining a body part because it doesn't require you to have the smashing tail from level 1.
Well, I think the implication is that you've always had a tail, but now it is, I don't know, you've worked it out enough that you can perform simple interact actions with it, whereas you couldn't before.
But that means at level 1, as a player, you have to say that you have that. Like, what if you at level 1 through 4, like you never looked forward in the book, right? And you just looked at whatever level. Now at level 5, you have this feat, and you go, oh, well, now I have an arm on my back that's smaller. You know what I mean? Like,
sure. Oh, I'm trying to look through the summary or like the description of the ancestry to see if it says that they all have tails. You know what I mean? Because it might.
Well, you can see this goblin. He doesn't look like he's got a tail. Like, the other artwork doesn't look like there are tailed creatures, you know? And then, chat's saying, like, you don't have to have a feat to have a tail. Correct. But what I'm trying to say is that needs to be a part of your character concept from the beginning versus something that you're gaining at 5th level. It's very similar to like feats that you can get at 1st level that like give you a bite or something like that, or give you like an additional aspect to your character that doesn't make sense for you to grow later on. Like, it's one of the reasons why I don't think that like that you can get like dark vision feats at level 5, like they're all like level 1. Or like you can get that feat that's a level 1 feat, but it says, oh, you can only take this at level 1.
Yeah, so the thing it says at the beginning, it kind of just leaves it up to whoever it is that's making the character. It says, while Gonzis resemble other members of their ancestry, it's rare for chaos to manifest with any degree of subtlety. 2 Gonzis are wholly alike, and there are no universal traits. So, like, it could be anything, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can look like whatever. It's just a weird place to add a tail.
Yeah,
you know.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think it's a small thing that most groups will just like retcon. Oh, you had a tail, and it never came up because that's a thing that like is pseudo normal.
Yeah, no, it's something easy. It's just I'm not used to seeing added body. I'm just not used to seeing that later on. That's all it is. Like to be completely honest with you.
Sure. Anarchic Arcana. That's an interesting word. I've never anarchic.
Yeah, it's like chaos. It's like chaos magic is basically
anarchy? What. Okay, the magic in your blood is unpredictable. When you make your daily preparations, roll 1d12 twice and consult the following list. 1 acid arrow, 2 blur, hideous laughter, humanoid form, illusory object, mirror image, resist energy, see invisibility, shatter, soundburst, spider climb, and telekinetic maneuver. I've never heard of that spell before. You can cast each of these 2 spells once during the following day, or 1 spell twice if you roll doubles, as 2nd level divine innate spells. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's just like, that's embodying chaos pretty well and is kind of unique. They made a table of spells. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I'm looking something up right now.
I was looking up telekinetic maneuver. With a rush of telekinetic power, you move a foe or something they carry. You can attempt to disarm, shove, or trip the target using a spell attack roll instead of an athletics check, and you get a range of 60 feet. That's pretty cool. I like that. Soundburst, spider climb, shatter. That's pretty neat.
So Jess was mentioning the fact that the 5th level feat for Tieflings, you gain the Skillful Tail feat, right? Which is the same feat as that. I think the difference between the two is that traditionally or stereotypically, Tieflings always have tails. It's like lizard folks always have lizard tails. You know, I know that now that because it is like the heritages have like expanded a little bit more, there are like not always tails. It's just weird to me. I'm sorry. I'm hung up on this. I apologize for that. Like,
hey, we're allowed to get hung up on stuff. That's fine.
Did you want? Are you still going over the chaos magic?
No. I understand the rest of these spells and yeah. I kind of want telekinetic maneuver now. Actually, I think there's a way for me to get it too, and that's kind of cool. It's a level 2 spell though. That would take so much investment. All right, you want to do Glory and Valor?
Hold on. Yes. Tails were always optional. Horns are always optional. Horns are never optional. You have to have horns.
Now you're just keeping Tieflings. That's just what this is putting into.
Glory and Valor, which is a 9th level feat and is an action. You can do it once per day. It's healing and necromancy. Ooh. Okay, you are descended from the Inherji.
Oh man, what is that?
Inherji.
Chat's raging, screaming at their monitors right now. It's pronounced like this, man. And I have no idea.
Eniharji, the worthy warrior of chaos. You call upon your ascended blood with a mighty cry that fills you with a revitalizing energy for 1 minute or until you critically fail a strike, whichever comes first. For the duration, the first time each round you successfully strike a creature of your level or higher, you regain hit points equal to half your level. Wow, I like that.
That's a lot.
That's really cool.
Wait, by default, if you're level 9, is half your level 4 HP or 5 HP? It rounds down, doesn't it?
It's rounded down. Yeah, it's like your spell levels. So it's like 6th level you get 3, 7th level you still have 3, 8th level you have 4. I like that a lot. I really do.
That's really good, especially for like, I mean, I'm a little biased, but like monks that can strike a whole bunch, or rangers that can strike really, really accurately if you do the flurry, whatever it's called, the thing that makes your multiple attack penalty just stupidly low. I don't remember what it is.
Well, I think that the quantity doesn't matter since it's the first strike per round.
Oh, it does say first strike.
Yeah. I think adding more strikes makes it worse because it fails either after a minute or critical failure. So just adding that, but it does change it up a little bit, because then you're less likely to want to do that third strike if you're up front in combat, right?
Like be like a fighter or a barbarian and just do like tons of other like, or you can use strikes that are more than one action and like move a whole bunch or something. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Hey, we've got something that attaches to your tail.
Hey. I was going to say, okay, does it have a prerequisite?
It does.
Your tail's chaotic and independent nature causes it to perform...
What is that? Wait. Is it larcenous tail?
Oh, yeah. Larcenous tail. Like larceny, like crime.
Yeah.
Your tail's chaotic and independent nature causes it to perform mischief even when you don't intend it, and can somehow steal things it shouldn't be able to handle. You can use your tail to steal an object, though your tail still can't hold onto it at the end of your action. Wait, what? Though your tail still can't hold onto it. Okay, so you have to like take it from your tail?
Yeah, so basically your tail can grab something, like pickpocket someone, but it has to go into your pocket, or you have to grab it from it.
Yeah, and it even says if you have a hand free, you can transfer the stolen object to your hand. Otherwise, your tail surreptitiously drops it on the ground in your space where you can grab it later. Observers other than your target who haven't witnessed you stealing something with your tail are usually distracted, meaning the GM will usually decrease their perception DCs as normal for stealing something. Mm-hmm. That is interesting. The flavor text at the beginning kind of implied that your tail was going to autonomously steal things, which would have been pretty funny. Like, you don't have the ability to control when your tail steals stuff. Like, every time you start a new conversation, the GM rolls a secret check, and if you fail the secret check, your tail attempts a secret thievery check, and if that succeeds, then you steal something whether you want to or not. Ha!
Lost Omens Tail Guide. I like this.
That's funny.
I like this, and I think the reason that they have the prerequisite, or have like the aspect where it can't hold it, is like they don't want it to be like, oh well, it's holding a shield or it's holding an item or something during the whole turn, so that next round it's easy. You know what I mean? Like, I think
so. You're not using it as a third appendage, because that would be very strong.
Yeah. All right. 13th
also
level.
Very chaotic. Just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah. Alter resistance, which is a reaction once per hour. You and trigger. You take acid, electricity, or sonic damage. What?
Just like a small nitpick. Don't lead lists of elements with the word acid, because what you just said out loud was you take acid, and then like my mind stopped listening, and I was like, did you just talk about taking? Why are we talking about that here? Oh, okay. There's more elements. Gotcha. Cool. Awesome.
I think it's because it's alphabetical.
Fair.
Yeah. Altered resistance. You take acid, electricity, or sonic damage. You focus on your protein forebearers to change your energy resistance. The energy resistance you gain from your Gonzi heritage changes to match the triggering damage. This change occurs after the damage is dealt. I also like this.
Do you gain resistance? Oh yeah, you do. Okay, sorry, we didn't read the heritage part of this. Really quick, I'm gonna scroll back up to page 96 to read the Gonzi uncommon heritage thing. Your blood is touched by primal chaos. You gain the Gonzi trait in addition to the traits from your ancestry. You gain resistance to a single damage type equal to half your level. At the beginning of each day, determine randomly whether this resistance applies to acid, electricity, or sonic damage. You also gain a +1 circumstance bonus to saving throws against effects that would cause you to gain the controlled condition. Nice. Because you can't control chaos. Oh, I love that. You can choose from Gonzi feats and the feats from your ancestry whenever you get an ancestry feat. Super are bad. We totally didn't read that. And now you know why the show is generally edited. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of like puts the rest of it into perspective as far as like the power of level 1 not being all that great, because the stuff you get by default with the heritage is really good. I get it. Okay, and then in that case, but as a reaction once per hour, you can have the correct resistance at level 13.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be, if it's one of those 3 damage types, at level 13 you get resistance 6 to whatever element it is. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't it depends on what you're playing, right? If you're playing something that, like, if you're playing a champion where you like reactions are a big part of your play style, I don't think this is that great. But if you're doing like, I don't know what classes don't use many reactions. I mean, monk doesn't have very many reactions. You can build a good monk without
there's a lot. Like, I would say reactions, depending on how you build. I would also say that even with champions where reactions are important, having a -6 to damage, like, depending on who you're going against, right? So, like, if you're in the middle of a combat and you're fighting a dragon that has lightning breath, yeah, give it to me. Give me that 6, because it's going to be doing that damage frequently. Or, if you're fighting something that is going to be giving that type of damage, you're fighting an alchemist who's throwing acid flasks. Like, I think it's going to be dependent on what you're fighting, not necessarily what you are. So, but I like this. The fact is that you get to swap it around versus being stuck with one. Yeah, sure. I'm down. Arise, ye worthy.
And I guess now that I think about it, it changes to match the triggering damage in perpetuity. So you can just, the first time in combat that you take acid damage, use the reaction, make your resistance acid, and then you forget about it for the rest of the combat, and you have your reactions that you can just continue to use, right?
Bingo.
I like this now. I think I didn't get it at first, but now I do. Arise, ye worthy.
I love that. And then, Dayton does want to point out these are generally damage types that you can't block anyways.
Acid, electricity, and sonic. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by block?
Like they're usually not like armor based. Like they're not going against your AC.
Sure. Yeah,
reflex saves.
Sure.
Anyways. Arise, ye worthy. You are descended from the Valkyries, who protect worthy souls, and you can hold back death's grip. You can cast Breath of Life as a divine innate spell once per day.
Don't know what that spell does. I play martial characters.
This is Croog and Indigo.
Breath of Life, 60 feet. Targets the creature. Is a reaction triggered by a living creature within range would die. Your blessing revives a creature at the moment of its death. You prevent the target from dying and restore hit points to the target equal to 4d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. You can't use Breath of Life if the triggering effect was disintegrate or a death effect. That's really good. And the thing I like about this the most is that you prevent the creature from getting the dying condition at all, so you don't have to deal with like standing and stuff like that, or your initiative changing, right? That's really cool. I love that.
And continuing with Lost Omens Tail Guide, Mischievous Tail. Your tail can bedevil your foes. You can disarm and trip creatures with your tail, even if you don't have a free hand. Any restrictions of the Skillful Tail otherwise continues to apply. If you have Smashing Tail, your tail unarmed attack gains the disarm and trip traits.
Nice. That's
so you
cool.
Have sweeping, disarm, and trip at level 13 if you want.
That's really good. I mean, if that's the kind of character you're building, that's really good. Having an extra appendage you can use to do those things, and being able to add your... if you really want level 13 Mischievous Tail, you probably are doing an unarmed character, and you probably have hand wraps. That makes it really nice. I like that a bunch.
Jason wants to talk about how hot the person on the page is, and I agree. I agree 100%.
But why are we talking about that when it's abundantly obvious that every page contains a hottie? Yeah. Especially the page you're on right now.
Exactly.
Not goblins, just... Mwah.
Speaking of hotties...
This is actually cool. This is like McCree plus Jack Sparrow sort of look. I like it.
But this is the one that you really liked, wasn't it?
Is this the right one? Oh, this is the
No. This is not the one. Yours was like the rock people with like the stones and stuff.
So Gennikin is the I'm pronouncing that wrong. Maybe it's Gennikin. Anyways, this is like the overarching like container for all of the elemental ancestries in one thing, right?
Oh yeah,
You look at Gennikin overview, you have Ifrit, Oreed, Suli, and Sylph, and Undyne, which are fire, earth, genies. I didn't know that genies were one of these things. Air and water. So I guess I forgot to mention genies earlier, but there you go. The Suli. My apologies. Please don't come after me.
I'm coming after you.
Yeah, this I'm super excited about this, especially Oreed. I haven't actually read through it yet, but I was really excited for Oreed. I was thinking about using that somewhere.
I don't see a section dedicated to like that the ancestry itself, right? Like these are just like, what if you want to play this is the kind of character you want to play, you know?
Well, because if you scroll to the next one, it's Ifrit, which is the fire one.
Well, we've got just the general feats.
Yeah. So we'll do these, like, there's a very small smattering of general feats that are available to all of the elementals.
Chat is saying Geniekin. Like genie and kin.
Yep. It's even spelled that way. So I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Look, again, this is why it's usually pre-recorded. We will listen to Google tell us how it's pronounced.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we'll sarcastically put it in the videos, but I'll tell you right now, the number of times that we have Google say words in the videos is nowhere near the number of times that we use Google to say words and then listen to them and then pronounce them incorrectly still, because, you know, that's how we work.
Well, or sometimes in my case, I pronounce it correctly and Google pronounces it incorrectly.
Right, like tiefling.
Exactly. That's exactly how you say it. I don't know why it says tiefling. That is wrong. All right, elemental eyes. So it has a prerequisite that requires you to have low light vision. Mm-hmm. You can see in dark vision as easily as an elemental. You gain dark vision special. You can select this feat only at first level, and you can't retrain into or out of this feat.
That makes sense, because that would be changing your eyes. Although I guess magic is a thing, so why not?
Again, this kind of goes back to the tail, like I was telling you about. Like, this is, anyways.
You've devoted yourself to researching the secrets of the inner. Oh, we haven't been saying page numbers. This is page 99 that we're on right now. We're on the second first level feat, elemental lore. You've devoted yourself to researching the secrets of the inner sphere. You gain the trained proficiency in your choice of survival and either arcana or nature. Oh.
What?
Choice of survival and either arcana. Okay, so you get survival and then you get either arcana or nature.
Yeah.
If you would automatically become trained in survival from blah blah blah, you can instead become trained in a different skill. You also become trained in the lore associated with your elemental plane of origin, such as plane of fire lore. That would be for the Ifrit, because they are associated with fire elementals. That's the level 1 elemental thing, or lore thing. So there you go.
Genie weapon familiarity. You're trained with weapons used by your genie ancestry, and you're changed with the Falchion Rashier scimitars. I'm trying to read these words.
Falchion, and I don't know what that second one is.
Scimitars and tridents, in addition to gaining access to all uncommon geniekin weapons. For the purpose of determining your proficiency, material geniekins weapons are simple weapons, and advanced geniekin weapons are martial weapons.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I like that it lowers the weapon class by 1, because getting access to advanced weapons is rough. Cool. All right. 5th level, genie weapon. As if to call me out specifically, genie is the first word of all of the fucking general feats. Genie weapon flourish. When you critically hit using a falchion, that second one that starts with an R that I can't pronounce, scimitar, trident, or geniekin weapon, you apply the weapon's critical specialization effect. Cool.
Yeah. Skillful Tail.
Same problem.
Is this
why everybody was saying there's more tails down there? Did we get to it, or is there even more tail as we go? Because that's a lot of tail.
Giggity. You were born with a tail and learned how to perform simple interactions with such opening and unlock door. I'm not going to read it again.
It's the same feat. It's the same feat. It's the same tail feat.
Yep. And then last but not least, Genie weapon expertise. It requires you to have Genie weapon familiarity. When you gain a class feature that grants you an expert or greater proficiency in certain weapons, you also gain that proficiency in falchions, whatever that second word is, scimitars, tridents, and Geniekin weapons in which you are trained.
Nice. These all feel a little bit like mandatory, right? These don't feel like they're here to help define like the flavor of an elemental, aside from like, oh yeah, elementals use these weapons. You know what I mean? Like these are just kind of mandatory. So hopefully these ones are a little bit more flavorful.
These are very basey. This is what you start to make your this is the noodles, and you're about to add to your ramen. You know?
Yeah, the seasonings and the beef. I made stew today. Oh, so good. I love stew.
Do we need to go back to the episode of Court where you learned what stew was? All right. Ifrit is the first subgroup under.
Yeah.
Which are the fire elemental group.
They descend from creatures such as Ifrit, salamanders, and magma dragons. Their spark of ancestral flame gives them a reputation for being passionate, if not capricious. That is the flavor text on page 100. It's pretty cute.
Okay, so we're going to scroll down because we're going to talk about the art. This cat looks like it has mange. All right, so it's not hot. So next.
I don't know what that means.
What mange is?
No.
Mange is a thing that animals can get that like parts of their fur disappear.
Thank you, Reliable, now for the $5 to highlight the message Kroog hype. Cool, I'm into it. Thank you. I do feel hype now. Thanks.
I mean, I guess it's because I was making fun of the stew. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the heritage. You descend from a fire elemental or bear the mark of an inner sphere, and your features illustrate the influence of that elemental fire as has over you. You gain the Ifrit trait. In addition to that trait from your ancestry, you gain resistance to fire equal half your level, minimum 1, and you treat environmental heat effects as if they were one step less severe. You can choose from Ifrit feats and feats from the ancestry when you gain ancestry feats.
I honestly, and nobody's going to believe me, I feel like I could have guessed this before reading it. You know what I mean? It almost has to be this, or else I would have been confused. So like,
I'm curious if it's going to be like, I'm curious if it's going to be samey for all of them.
I think it will be. It would be weird if it wasn't.
Air?
It almost has to be the same.
What would air be?
Like,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Wait, I forgot the difference between thunder and lightning.
As in damage type?
Yeah.
Force and electricity?
Yeah, electricity. Thank you. Oh boy. Jeez. I just had a stroke.
This is cool. Oh my god, I love this cracked molten fire.
Yeah, that's honestly, this image was what got me into the elemental thing, and then I kept scrolling and I found the one that I really want, which is the earth one. Oh, so nice. So cool. Honestly, I love all of these. And the thing is, and the thing that I disliked about the way that elementals are commonly represented is that they're always upset and they have absolutely no there's no bubbly, happy elementals. This individual looks very happy. I mean, they look like they're about to beat you up, but
happy to beat the hell out of you.
Look, people like different things. Don't judge. Okay, Bright Soul. This is the first level 1 feat. We're now on page 102. The fire inside you asserts itself as a beaming radiant light. Your body is naturally luminescent, glowing with the effects of primal light cantrip. A cantrip is heightened to a spell level equal to half your level rounded up. The light is involuntary and constant. If counteracted, it returns in 1d4 rounds. You suffer a -2 circumstance penalty to stealth checks, to hide or sneak, and gain a +1 circumstance bonus on saves against light effects and effects that inflict the blinded or dazzled condition. That's a pretty aggressive downside.
You're not a stealthy character.
Me?
No.
You mean saying Bright Soul is not a... Yeah, if you take Bright Soul, you don't give an F. You just run in and start hitting things or lighting things on fire, as it were.
I mean, I also feel that that's. I mean, the light is involuntary and constant.
That's what I'm saying. If you could like at least dim it to something that's like kind of easy to hide, then I'd be like, okay. But like, and then this is going to lead to arguments between players and GMs, because a player could be like, oh, can I rub dirt on my arm and body to cover up the light? Because technically that's covering, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get rough. I'm not a huge fan of this.
I'm gonna quote chat. She's got a different kind of step on me energy.
But it still checks out. Like it.
Cinder Soul. The fire of your elemental ancestry manifests like dying embers of a blaze, and your inner charcoal helps stauch bleeding, purify simple poisons, and absorb acid. The DC of your recovery from persistent persistent acid, bleed, and poison damage is 10 instead of 15, or 5 for a particular. I like that. I like these like little like I'm just better at this.
Yeah. The persistent stuff, like lowering the DCs that you can't modify in any other way. That's pretty fun stuff. I noticed that persistent fire damage isn't on that list though.
No.
Seems weird. Maybe you get it later.
Well, because this is saying that it's less that you're like have fire in you. It's more of like that burning charcoal. It's the thing that counteracts it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Charcoal does light on fire.
Yes.
Or so I hear.
Which I'm just saying does not help the persistent fire damage.
Right. Ember's eyes. Your eyes blaze with inner flame. You gain low light vision, or you gain dark vision if your ancestry already has low light vision. If your ancestry has neither of them, then you can take this feat a second time to gain dark vision. Why did they phrase it differently? Hold on. I'm going to scroll up here. I'm going to read the dark vision thing here. This says, for Gonzi gaze, you have unusual sensory abilities, blah, blah, blah. You gain low light vision. If you already have low light vision, you gain dark vision instead. Special. You can select this feat a second time to gain dark vision in addition to low light vision. That's 96. That's the Gonzi gaze. They're equivalent feat. And then if you go to Ifrit, Ember's eyes, your eyes blaze with your flame. You gain low light vision, or you gain dark vision if your ancestry already has low light vision. Not if you gained it from some other way. Are there any other ways to gain it at level 1? No, but you could take this feat at a different level. So if you gain low light vision from another source, and then you take this, you gain double low light vision. I think they wrote this wrong.
Yeah, well, I would also point out the fact is that I think the other one said that you can't train into this or out of it.
The Gonzi
right?
one?
Yeah, the Gonzi one.
Nope.
It does not say that.
It does not say that.
Well, this one says you can't retrain out of this feat.
Huh. I think they should have just made those the same. I don't see the balance reason for how this is.
Are they both level 1?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't either.
Those should have been the same.
Next one, inner fire. You can call the fire inside you into the palm of your hand, and you can cast Produce Flame cantrip as an innate primal or arcane spell at will. A cantrip is heightened to the spell's level equal to half of your level, rounded up. I like cantrips in general, especially getting a free one.
Yeah, getting a free thing that scales like 100%. Like. I'd take that in a heartbeat. That's really good. And flavorful. You throw fire. Heck yeah. Lava Soul. Your elemental lineage manifests as magma and molten rock. This is the step on me, lady. You can focus the magma into your hand to attack. To attack foes. You gain a magma spike unarmed attack, which requires a free hand to use. This is an agile finesse unarmed attack in the brawling weapon group that deals 1d4 piercing damage, as well as 1 additional fire damage. Instead of the normal critical specialization effect, the target takes 1d6 persistent fire damage. You gain a bonus on this persistent damage equal to your item bonus to attack rolls on unarmed attacks. I thought it was going to be weapon die, but cool, attack rolls. That's pretty cool. I don't think it's the strongest thing in the world, but it's like having access to various damage types for an unarmed character. I will say this every single time we talk about an unarmed attack, I swear. Having access to different damage types as an armed character is really strong. It's something that I lack a whole bunch of when I play Kroog on Court of Corvids. I regret not having access to various damage types. Even more so than I regret not having access to ranged like attacks, honestly. Especially because I haven't read the bestiary. Like I haven't gone through bestiaries and like I don't know monster stat blocks. So I don't know like what resistances I should be looking for or what like immunities or whatever. And so it's really hard for me to experiment and I have to rely on the rest of the party. I have to rely on the casters basically to experiment with damage types so that I can learn, or recall knowledge, but my character's not the smartest. So it's really hard. Anyways, I like Lava Soul. I'd take Lava Soul over Inner Fire personally.
So chat's kind of going off a little bit about the what we were talking about vision. So like Dayton is saying stuff like Gonzi once one is flexible, the Ifrit one is locked in because Gonzis are chaos people and their bodies are chaotic and in flux at all times. I understand that as a concept, but the fact is that these are still rules and manifestations of a game that have to have an outer balance to them, right? Because the idea is that you're not going to have one specific ancestry that is significantly stronger than the other one or have different like abilities that overpower it versus other ones, because that's just how what kind of creature they are. Like the fact is that a human and a human and an Ifrit, right, are still going to have similar strengths as a base. Right? It's not going to make one significantly stronger than the other. They have their different aspects that they have talents to. My problem is that since just because it says it's chaos doesn't mean that it doesn't have to also fit some sort of pattern that the rule set has designed, you know?
Also, this is a small thing because I like that interpretation. I like the interpretation that Gonzi physiology is prone to change, right? But I don't think the book actually says that. It says that between Gonzi, there's a lot of variation, but it never says that a single Gonzi will go through multiple like shifts in their physiology over time. Which again, I like the interpretation, and I would totally use that. But from a justification for the way that those two vision differences work, I don't see it really.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
I think we're on Sinister Appearance, unless you wanted to go back and talk about something else.
No. I was done with Lava Soul. Better than Inner Fire.
Sinister Appearance. You possess horns, a tail, or red eyes, or other, or could otherwise be mistaken as a tiefling.
I'm so sorry. Really quickly.
Yeah. Is it quickly?
So okay. At level 1. The genie can and sorry, I should give credit. In the end, we are alone. The wolf. That's a very long username. Remember, elemental eyes give you dark vision. The genie can, like the base feats, elemental eyes level 1. You can just get dark vision, but you need to have low light vision. I just don't get it. It's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of vision in this thing. All right. Sorry. You can keep going.
You possess horns, tails, or red eyes, or otherwise be mistaken as a tiefling because they're sinister and awesome. You gain a trained proficiency rank in intimidation, which all intimidation feats should stack. If you could automatically become trained in intimidation, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You gain intimidating glare, which stacks on other intimidation skills, as well as a +2 circumstance bonus to deception checks to impersonating when pretending to be a version of yourself who is a tiefling.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a really specific circumstance bonus to deception checks to pretend to be a version of yourself who's a typeling. I mean, actually, that would kind of make sense. That I could see that as being useful if you're in a situation where you don't want people to know you're an elemental. Fire sight. You can see through the haze of flame. You automatically succeed the flat check to target concealed creature. To target a concealed creature if that creature is concealed by smoke and fire. Flame Oracle with this OP. Much?
Oh, sure.
Oh, no, wait. But the Oracle stuff can't be modified. So you can't see through it. You have to make the check. I forgot about that. Thank you, the chat. Person who's going to, as soon as I say that in chat, or like to the chat, they're going to write it in the thing. I bet you.
Heat wave reaction trigger an effect would deal fire damage to you even if you resist all of the damage. And frequency once per 10 minutes. Harness the oncoming flames and twist them into your screen of heat and smoke, granting you the concealment until the beginning of your next turn.
Nice. That's cool. That's a cool reaction, honestly.
Chat. Ifrit Flame Oracle Kroog.
Charred Remains, free action. Love me some free actions. You can use once per day. Your next fire spell leaves embers in its wake. If your next action is to cast a spell with an area and the fire trait for 1 minute, your spell's area becomes difficult terrain as well as hazardous terrain, dealing 1 fire damage for each square the creature. That's cool. I love that.
Fireball.
Yeah. Just
always
this big old charred cindery area on the ground. 60 feet, 30 feet. I don't remember.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's a free action. It's basically like a baby meta magic feat.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a free action that you can only do once per day, but that's still cool, especially if you like do it correctly, you know?
If you do this with a concentrate spell, like if I do this and then cast Flaming Sphere, do all of the
Flaming Sphere isn't an area effect.
No, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true. All right, whatever.
Ifritite magic. Ifriti magic. The magic of your Ifriti ancestry flows through you. You can cast enlarge an illusionary object once per day, each as a second level arcane innate spell.
Why illusory object? Is there a reason for illusory object?
I don't know.
I guess maybe like, you know, when the fire dances and you can like see things in it. Maybe. I'm just trying to figure out the flavor reason. Like, I think it's good. I like the having access to those spells. This seems like it's going to be just giving you a lot of magic, which is nice.
All I'm saying is I'm starting to see Kroog more and more like this character, because the next one is Scorching Disarm.
Okay, if this makes Disarm usable, I am going to just spontaneously combust in the next episode of Coda Corvids. Frequency once per day as a single action. Once per day is not that often. You make a weapon unbearable to hold. Attempt an athletics check to disarm a target creature. You don't need to have a hand free. If the disarm attempt succeeds, the target takes 46 fire damage unless it drops the weapon. Oh, if it succeeds, nice. On a critical success, it takes 46 fire damage and drops the weapon. If you're legendary in athletics, and it scales. This increases to 86 fire damage. That's not bad. The fact that you can succeed, that you can actually succeed in disarming someone, in having them drop their weapon with a normal success instead of having to get a critical success, I would say is really good, but in reality, it's the way it just should be.
Don't get me started about my distaste for disarm and trip and all of those. Like, I'm not a big fan of the.
Oh wait, hold on. Trip's great. Trip, shove, grapple, everything except for disarm is great.
Oh, I thought. Oh, you know what? I might be mistaken, because I thought they were very similar in like. Oh, you just get a +5, but
Prim's the only one.
I don't play enough.
Yeah, you don't ever play.
I play once a week. Thank you very much. I play a caster, so I don't
use any of the martial actions.
Yeah, exactly. Radiant Burst, 2 actions, 13th level, once per day. Your skin glows with intensity. Creatures within 10 feet of you who can see you must succeed a fortitude save against a class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. Critical success, the creature is unaffected. Success, the creature is dazed for 1 round. Failure, the creature is blinded for 1 round and dazed for 4 rounds. Critical failure, the creature is blinded for 4 rounds and is dazed for 10 minutes. I'm cool with this.
That's a lot.
It's 2 actions, which is a little much.
And it's only once per day. But it's a good, like, this is actually a really good oh no ability. You know what I mean? Like, I need to leave, get me out. Like, imagine they normal fail. Blinded for 1 round and dazzled for 4 rounds. You should be able to get out of a sticky situation with that. I think that's good.
And I mean, it's weird because it's only a 10-foot around you. They have to be able to see you. So like it's just a little. I'm just trying to think of I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. Summon Fire Elemental. I don't know. Sounds like I'm going to pick this one instead. You can summon an elemental ally once per day. You can cast Summon Elemental. Summon Elemental as a 5th level primal innate spell. But the elemental summon must be a fire elemental.
Okay, so real quick, it's 5th level. 5th level. Let's look at the thing. Doodle-do. Oh, it's definitely not going to show me anything about a level 5 elemental. That's unfortunate. Well, rip. I'll look that up later.
So Alex in here says Flaming Sphere has an area of 1 5-foot square.
Hey, thank you, Alex. So okay, hold on. That brings up we're gonna go back to Charred Remains, the first level 9 feet on page 103. So in that case, would this last for the whole minute? I'll read it again. If your next action is to cast a spell with an area and the fire trait, which Flaming Sphere does have, apparently, for 1 minute, your spell's area. No, wait. Your spell's area becomes difficult terrain as well as hazardous terrain, dealing 1 fire damage for each square creature.
No, because technically
you have to move through the Flaming Sphere at that point, right?
Well, because you can actually move Flaming Sphere when you but the thing is, it specifically says when you cast it. So if your next action is to cast a spell with an area of effect, it basically turns Flaming Sphere wherever you land a 5-foot space of difficult terrain.
Spell's area becomes difficult. Okay, but like when you move it, you're moving the spell's area.
You're not recasting the spell.
Yeah, but the spell's area isn't going away; it's moving.
Yeah,
because it lasts for a whole minute, right? So when you cast the spell with an area in the fire trait for 1 minute, the spell's area becomes difficult terrain. Just because the spell's area changes over time doesn't mean that it's like a new area, right?
So it would work in one of 2 ways. It would either create the one spot that you originally cast it to be a 5-foot difficult terrain, or when you move it and wherever it lands, its new square that it's in is difficult terrain, which seems less useful because people walking through it is still walking through it. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense.
No,
so it's just going to be the 5-foot square. Just think of it.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with it. It really is. You're setting 1 square on fire for a minute.
Yeah,
but my way is cooler.
Is it?
It's not rules as written, but it's cooler.
If you say so.
100% cooler.
I mean, it would be interesting if it like left a trail. That would be cool. Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say happens. Like you cast it and then you move it, and every square that it moves through is lit for a minute, or for the rest of the minute that is remaining on Charred Remains.
Yeah, the only thing with that is I think it would be way too strong.
Yes, probably way too strong, especially in a 5-foot corridor. You'd just be able to own everything.
Yeah.
And that's the end. Oh, wait, we didn't, not even close.
Blazing Aura.
Yeah, Blazing Aura. We still have the capstone. What am I saying? is a reaction once per day. You can use it when your turn begins. You explode in flame. Your character dies, and you cannot be resurrected by any means. I'm just kidding. Enemies in a 20-foot emanation take 7d6 fire damage, basic reflex save using your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. That's nice of them. Allies in the area are quickened for 1 round and can use the additional action to strike or stride. Nice. That's pretty cool. You can just explode.
This with the other thing where it makes it difficult terrain, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah.
You just
yeah, but that affects your allies.
Yes. And
fair. Okay. Rude. That's the end
of Ifrit.
Yeah. What do you think about Ifrit as a whole?
They're fire themed creatures. I mean,
yeah, they're very damage focused. They feel more damage focused than other options. Let's put it that way. That's where I'm at with them.
I feel them as more of a melee in your face kind of ancestry, because like
I'm so sorry. Really quick, the blazing aura. I super read the quickened part and it didn't click. Quickened is really good, and that feat's really good. I'm dumb.
Yeah. But I feel like this is very much a, like, yes, there is 1 or 2 casty stuff in here, but like I feel like they're very much a melee or martial class. Like even the Ifritite magic, the fact is that you can cast Enlarge. Cool. I'm casting Enlarge on myself. Like I'm going to be in there and fight.
Yeah, you got access to Disarm. I mean, actually, because you can use your spell DC for this too.
Mm-hmm. Spell or class DC.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a pretty good balance between things for martial focused and caster focused things. Because a lot of the spell like aspects of this, a lot of the magical aspects of this would be useful for a martial character to have, you know?
I mean, like what? Because like Bright Soul, I believe all classes have access. All spellcasting classes have access to light. So why would I take it? Why would I take a thing that hurt?
Being able to just become concealed on a whim if somebody casts fire magic at you.
That's also really helpful for a martial class who can't, like a fighter who can't get to the caster or can't get to.
That's what I'm trying to say. What did you think I was trying to say?
I'm saying that this is much better for a martial class than a spellcasting class.
Oh. I misheard you.
Yeah. I'm saying this is very martial focused.
Gotcha. I could have sworn you said caster, but okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I think because it gives access to a lot of the cool utility of magic without having to be a caster, right? But if you're a caster, you can just take those things, and then this is sort of redundant at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you get the strength of a martial character, like the health and stuff.
The next one is the
Oreed.
Is this the one you really like?
This is the one that I think their flavor fits Kroog the most, which is why I'm excited about them.
All right. Do you want to read the
plane of Earth's influence runs through an Oreed's family, most often from a Shaitian? All right. Well, help, please, chat. Or Crystal Dragon ancestor. Oreeds tend to be stoic, steadfast, and dependable, but they contain depths not seen on the surface. That's a monk right there. Let's scroll down to 105. That's where the heritage is. An earth elemental ancestor has influenced your bloodline, and your features highlight this elemental planar connection. You might have a crystalline or metallic sheen to your skin or hair, rough and stony flesh, or glittering gemstone eyes. You gain the Oreed trait in addition to the traits from your ancestry. You gain low light vision, or you gain dark vision if your ancestry already has low light vision. You can choose from Oreed feats and feats from your ancestry whenever you gain an ancestry feat. Okie dokie.
Dust Soul.
That is
mediocre.
Low light vision, or you can What happens if you have dark vision already? Cool. All right. Well, that's mediocre. Yeah. It's whatever.
You don't choose this. Dust Soul, your Earth Elemental Ancestor influence manifestation in you as dust and dirt, like the soil of a field or the hot desert sand. You gain the trained proficiency rank in survival. You, if you would automatically become trained in survival, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. And you could sustain yourself in dirt and ash instead of normal food and water.
I love that. I love just like you're in a situation where, because Kroog never eats, right? That's what I'm thinking. Kroog really tries their hardest to not eat in front of other people or to eat other people's food. And so just being able to like pull a handful of sand out of your pocket and just like munch on it. And they're like, is he okay? And they're like, yeah, he's fine. That's just something they do. Don't worry about it.
See, and I see Kroog popping rocks, you know?
It's like a little snack. I love that. Elemental trade. You have a strong connection with stone and metal. You gain the trained proficiency rank in crafting. If you would automatically become trained in crafting, you get trained in a skill of your choice. You gain the specialty crafting skill feat for both stonemasonry and blacksmithing. That's cool for certain characters. I love that. And it's very flavorful, I think. Not really much else to say about it, though.
Yeah. Gem Soul, the earth inside you asserts itself as a crystallized gemstone or material, like a cluster of quartz or a vein of iron and gold. This shimmering persistence inside your being inspires you to flashy and flamboyant performances. You gain the trained proficiency rank in performance. You are automatically trained in this. You instead become trained in another skill, and you gain the impression performance skill feat.
Impressive performance.
Impressive.
I like how you got like 2/3 of the way through you can pick something else if you're already trained, and then you just like were like, ugh, and then moved on to the next sentence. That's funny. I didn't imagine that being the kind of flavor you'd go for like an earth elemental, but I kind of like it. Like it's pretty cool. It's different, and it like once you understand the first line where it explains why this is a thing, it makes sense. I like it. I'm gonna do Mire Soul. You have a connection to the muddier denizens of the plane of earth from its border with the plane of water. Oh, I see. And your elemental lineage manifests as clay or mud, reflecting that bond. Your body's mud-like quality makes it easier for you to compress and squeeze yourself through smaller areas. You gain the trained proficiency rank in acrobatics. You would automatically become trained in acrobatics from your background in class. For example, you instead become trained in skill of your choice. You gain the quick squeeze skill feat. Wow, what a great level 1 feat. Next one.
I love that you also continue to get the squeeze feats. Like it's like fate has required you to then have to read them. Steady on stone. Your connection with the earth makes you a natural uneven surface, less of a hindrance for you. You can ignore difficult terrain caused by rubble and uneven ground made of stone and earth. In addition, when you use an acrobatic skill to balance on a narrow surface or uneven ground made from stone and earth, you aren't flat-footed. And when you roll to succeed at one of these acrobatics checks, you gain a critical success instead.
I like it. That's good.
Yeah. It also kind of fits well with your wrist wrap ability for Kroog.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. With this and with the oh no, never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, that 100% helps like me not harm myself. Okay. The next one is Fortify Shield. Interesting. You can cast it once per day, and the prerequisites is that you have shield block. Is that in the feats that you can take for this?
It's a prerequisite. It's just shield block prerequisite. So it's going to come from your.
I was trying to see if there's additional feats that are available, like because sometimes you can also pick these feats that already exist, and we don't have to explain them again. But it doesn't have any that I can see. Okay, Fortify Shield. You reinforce your shield with a rocky outgrowth of metal and stone. You raise your shield. If you use the shield block reaction before your next turn, add your character level to your shield's hardness when determining how much damage is blocked. Oh, that's cool.
I like that. You're
But
already. It's already 5 at that point.
Yeah, that's good, but it doesn't say. It doesn't, because the hardness of your shield. I think I'm going to get this wrong, but no. The hardness of your shield reduces the damage that your shield would take. So if you block 5 damage with the 5 hardness shield, you don't take any damage, right? But if you block like 20 damage with the 5 hardness shield, you reduce the damage. Oh fuck, I don't remember how it works. I don't use shields. Hold on, let's do shield block.
The kicker to this one, and the thing that I'm not a huge favor of, is the fact that it's once per day.
Yeah,
well,
it's.
I was also gonna say hi to Guilty, who is on our Parliament of Owls show.
Oh, hi, Guilty.
Yeah, if you aren't following Guilty, you should go over to Guilty's YouTube channel and follow her and sub to her. Follow is on the wrong platform. You should sub to her because she just released our 2nd episode of Monster Hearts that I was on for the Valentine's Day. It was a really good one. I enjoyed playing Arthur, who is not related to Arturo and is not a reoccurring name that I continuously use all the time.
Nice. So, okay, shield block, really quick. You and the shield take any remaining damage, possibly breaking or destroying the shield. Okay, yeah, so actually this would work. I was under the impression that while Fortify Shield would add your level to the hardness, that it wouldn't mitigate the amount of damage your shield takes, but I think it actually does. So that's good. I think that's nice. Treacherous Earth.
Treacherous Earth once per every 10 minutes. You have the power to shatter the earth into a shape of your devising. You crack the ground beneath you, creating difficult terrain in a 5-foot burst centered on one corner of your space. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's okay. Level 5. This should have been level 1, I think, honestly. Take away the once every 10 minutes and make it once every hour and make it level 1. Right? Like, I don't see this being level 5.
I mean, I wouldn't even change the once every 10 minutes. Like,
yeah, you're not going to get more. You're not going to get a combat that's longer than 10 minutes.
Like, this is,
and honestly, if you do, you're not going to remember.
Yeah, this
level 1. It should have been level 1.
Yeah, not
honestly. Steady on Stone could have been level 5. To be completely honest with you, and
I mean,
level 1.
Yes, Yes, I understand that it's forever. I get that. I understand that, but it's also a 5-foot. I don't know. I don't see it coming into play very often. Like,
well, I mean, the fact that it's forever is nice. Don't get me wrong, but like, a 5-foot burst isn't the largest area in the world, and like once you move past it, right? Once you avoid the obstacle, it doesn't matter that it lasts forever. The obstacle has been avoided, unless you're like kiting someone around it, but that just means you're fighting a very stupid enemy in the first place. I mean, I think there's some cases where you could use it to do something cool, but you're gonna have to be real clever, you know?
Yeah.
Earth Sense. Or in a very small corridor. There's that. Your connection to Earth and Stone allows you to feel the slightest displacement that disturbs them down to a shift of a pebble. You gain Tremor Sense as an imprecise sense. I always do that. With a range of 30 feet. I love Tremor Sense. And I hope that you can make it precise later on in the thing.
I like this as well. All right. Now, here's me pronouncing words I can't pronounce. Shantan magic. Shantitan magic.
You're just adding multiple syllables at this point.
Charmin ultra bounce magic. Okay.
Other toilet papers are available.
Baja Blast magic. Okay. The magic of your Baja Blast runs through your blood. You can cast Glitter Dust and resist energy once per day, each at 2nd level arcane innate spell.
Nice.
I don't like innate spells. So it's
innate spells aren't ideal, but magic is nice. I like how I'm looking at this from the perspective of a martial character, and you're looking at it from the perspective of a caster, where you're like, my normal spells are stronger, and I'm like, ooh, magic.
Yeah.
13 metal veined strikes. See, okay, I'm already at the point where I've ruled out doing this with Kroog because this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Metallic veins grow throughout your body, giving your unarmed attacks a metallic sheen. Choose either cold iron or silver. Your unarmed attacks are treated as the chosen type of metal. I'm pretty sure I just get that in Monk. I don't remember exactly what metals I get to like treat my attacks as, but I'm pretty sure it's the good ones.
Storekeep won't sell you that item you want for the price you want. You can trash their store mechanically. I mean, you can trash their store with a sword. You know what I mean? Like I just, it's not that great.
I mean, you don't need anything to trash a store. You can just do it with your arms and hands, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
you can just throw stuff. You can throw stuff at them. I mean, depending on the kind of, if you're talking to like a level 18 shopkeeper, then I mean, but also if you're talking to a level 18 shopkeeper, this isn't really going to do much either, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
It's not useless. We're not saying it's completely useless. We're just saying that it's a little bit not as powerful as a level 5 feat should be.
Mm-hmm. One with Earth. You learn to harness your connection with the Earth to travel through it. You gain the burrow speed of 15 feet. I'm cool with this as well.
Yeah, burrow speed's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Burrow speed is unique. And
let me sneak into this house.
And also, from what I understand about Burrow, and I could be wrong here, but I don't think you leave a trail above you. I think you just are underground, and people that don't have tremor sense can't see you, which is messed up and kind of terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
The almost mandatory summon Earth Elemental, where you just
no, you're missing one.
Shaitan Skin.
The Baja Blast Skin.
When in danger, you can harden the stone in your skin into armor, much like a. You can cast Stone Skin on yourself only 3 times per day as a 4th level arcane innate spell. Time to look up Stone Skin at 4th level.
And is it good at 13th?
Stone Skin. 2 actions, 20-minute duration, touch range, but it doesn't matter because you can only target yourself. The target's skin hardness is like stone. It gains resistance 5 to physical damage. This is the base level of the spell.
Okay.
Except adamantine. Each time the target is hit by a bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing attack, Stone Skin's duration, decreases by 1 minute. Bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing attacks don't. That's an interesting mechanic. And then so it looks like. Sorry, where's the... Oh, it's 4th level. So that's just base. Okay, so you just get resistance 5 to physical damage for 20 minutes. That's okay. I mean, it's not the worst. It's level 13, though.
Yeah, this one isn't bad.
Yeah. 20 minutes is a long time. That's
then
like a lot.
Multiple combats, yeah, theoretically. Summon Earth Elemental, 5th level primal innate spell. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, wait, stone form.
No. I know. I'm not moving on.
Okay.
I'm not moving on. I'm going backwards because Dayton is still obsessed with this damn shattering slam. He's saying that he's going to build a character to prove how strong it is. And this is how I'm going to counter that character. I'm going to be a spellcaster. Boom. I'm done. I'm not going to be near you. I'm going to be at minimum 30 feet away, maximum 120 feet. Go ahead and smash the ground in front of you. It's not going to affect me whatsoever.
I mean, does difficult terrain do something if you're not moving? If you're just standing on difficult terrain, does it do something?
No. Well, this one specifically makes it so that you're flat-footed or something like that. A difficult terrain, flat foot, center on you. You correct the ground beneath. No, it just creates difficult terrain.
I'm gonna look up the difficult terrain rules. Moving into a square of difficult terrain costs an extra 5 feet of movement. Moving into a square of greater difficult terrain costs 10 feet of movement. This additional cost is not increased when moving diagonally. You can't step into difficult terrain. Movement you make while you are jumping ignores the terrain you're jumping over. Yeah, it's just movement stuff. I mean, you could also just like be a monk and like not care about having your speed reduced because you're still faster. Again, not. I don't want people to think that I think this is useless.
I'm also confused of why you think you can't avoid attacks of opportunity. Like, I'm confused by that.
Can you step out of it? You can step out of it still.
Yeah.
So if you're the center of the burst, right? Or the center of the emanation, can't you just step away? Because you're stepping out of the difficult terrain at that point, right?
Yeah.
Which is like fine. It's a waste of an action. It's not bad. It's not terrible.
It's just not 5th level worthy. And I get you can spend you can spend an hour and do it 6 times and make a large section of difficult terrain. But again, it is all counteracted by one spellcaster or one ranger. It is just useless. Or a monk who can just be like, cool, difficult terrain.
I'm not sure that be a monk is a strategy you apply to the monsters you pit against players with player options. I think the point I was trying to make is that it makes move speed slightly more important than it usually is, right? Like a lot of times you and the creature you're fighting, unless it is specifically designed to be like a lumbering oaf, your move speeds are sort of on par a lot of the time, unless your character is specifically built to be faster than the average speed. So making move speed more of a like factor in combat in this one 5-foot emanation, I don't really see as that valuable. You know what I mean? It's not.
Also, the fact is that it has to. It also has to emanate from you as one of your corners, right? So it has to be one of the corners of your character. So the thing is if you're fighting a melee character, that melee character is already in your face, and then you're going to cast that ability. It does not matter. Like, they want to be in your face.
Yeah,
so
it's good if you're a martial character and you're running into a group of characters that don't want to be in melee with a martial character. So you're like running into like a caster's space, and then you're like, I don't want you to leave, stay here. But like then it's not big enough to be super impactful, right? And by big enough, I mean the area isn't large enough to slow down the caster enough that you get, I think, enough of an opportunity to kill them. And also at most levels, right? Like past level 4-ish, a caster will have tools to escape from you that aren't just step. And yes, you'll get, in a lot of cases, an attack of opportunity against them if they try casting something while you're in their face. But there's also some tools that casters have that don't require somatic components that they can use to escape, that are just verbal. So, I mean, we could go back and forth. There's like a bunch of like justification one way or the other. I don't think it's designed. I don't think the game in general is designed to be cut and dry. This is super strong. This is not strong. It's about the situations that you're in, right? If you're in a situation where you can cover the entire like width of a corridor with difficult terrain and people are running after you, this is the strongest thing in the world. That's great. That's awesome. I just don't think that in a lot of campaigns that you're like usually in that situation, you know, whereas stuff like, oh, you get a bonus to perception checks is like the strongest thing because you're almost always making that check, right? That's kind of how I judge whether or not something is strong.
And yes, we get that it's an ancestry feat. We're not trying to say that it needs to be like this epic, amazing thing. It's just that I don't find it interesting. Like that's what we're trying to convey, is that I don't find it as an interesting aspect. You're making some difficult terrain around you in a very small
I think it's
space.
flavorful. I think it's like flavorful and nice. And I like having the in Court of Corvid specifically, I like having the ability to make difficult terrain. But the thing that I like about having the ability to make difficult terrain is that the shape and dimension of the difficult terrain is flexible, so that I can slow down a large group of people by a little bit, or slow down a small area by a whole bunch, like make a really long strip of difficult terrain, a really wide one. Like that's what makes it useful.
John said, "Can we move on?"
Feats, that's true.
Look, I'm gonna say one thing, and we will move on from this. I think it'd be. I think to make it really cool or really interesting, that it would be like, oh my god, this would be amazing. Is if it was a little bit bigger and it wasn't just a 2x2 square emanating on one corner, but it was a 3x3 surrounding you. Right. And so you're the center of it and it hits every square around you, would make it really interesting, like make it difficult terrain. And what would also make it interesting or cool is if it added the aspect of damage by walking into that space, kind of like how your item, when people are walking through it, does damage. Yep. I think that those would be interesting.
Yep. It doesn't even have to be that much damage. Just
it's like 1d4. Cool. Last thing on the stone people, we're stone form. You can transform 17th level. You can transform your body into a pure primal manifestation of earth and an elemental. Once per day, you can cast elemental form at 7th level primal innate spell, but can only choose earth elementals.
That's interesting. I expected. No, you know what? That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm cool with it. Dayton, I did not expect Earth shattering to be a controversial topic tonight. Sully is the next one.
Sully? I think it's Sully.
Sully. You're right. And these are people of the sea.
People of the sea. Other tuna is available. Sulis are a geniekin who embody a mixture of elements, most commonly air, earth, fire, and water. They are typically descendants of Jan, genies of all four elements that wander the material plane instead of making a home on the elemental planes. That is cool. Are you just going to be able to pick from everybody else's feats? No. The heritage. Okay. We're on page 110 at the moment. You are descended from Janai or otherwise embody a dichotomy of opposing elemental planar forces. You gain the Sully trait in addition to the traits from your ancestry. You also gain low light vision, or you gain dark vision if your ancestry already has low light vision. You can choose from Sully feats and feats from your ancestry whenever you gain an ancestry feat. Is that the exact same as the Oread one? Or Oread?
You gain low light vision, or you gain dark vision if your ancestry already has low light vision, and you can choose or eat feats. Are you talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just low light.
Yeah. You get dark vision if your ancestry. Yep, it's the exact same thing. All right. Well, that's fine. And then ancestry feats. You want to do dual born?
Yeah, dual born. Your Sully heritage can be traced back to 2 geniekin ancestries of opposing elements, or an element ancestry that embodies 2 combined elements. Choose 2 of the following elements: air, earth, fire, and water. Once made, this choice can't be changed. You gain resistance equal to half your level to all damaging effects with the traits of either of these chosen elements. I like this. If you take this elemental assault or elemental bulwark ancestry feat, you can use them only with your chosen element. You can add your resisting form. You can add your resistance from this feat to the resistance you gain from elemental bulwark against effects with your elemental trait, for a total of 5 plus half your level, or 10 plus half your level with improved elemental bulwark. If you take the Tetramental assault feat, you can choose each of your 2 elementals twice each instead of choosing each of the 4 elementals once. I like this. This is cool. There's a lot to this. Like this ancestry feat. It's usually the other way around, right? It's like it's like a prerequisite. This is very much a hey, you start with this, and then if you start with this and then choose these other things, this one gets better.
Is this like excuse me? Do you like pick at some point what elements you have? The first level begin one answers.
Yeah. So you choose which of the 2 elementals that are a part of your ancestry, and once you make this choice, you gain resistance equal to half your level to all damage effects of the traits of either of those chosen elements. So if you choose say fire and water, and you go, okay, I'm going to choose fire as the one I gain resistance to.
Gotcha. You're still expected to of opposing elements. Gotcha. This also feels like one that you might want to restrict to not being able to train into and out of, because it feels like it's about your heritage, and that generally is when they do that. But I guess is that what the lineage trait does? That might be what the lineage trait does.
I think this is really cool. I like this.
Yeah. Aside from that, I like that a lot. That's strong and scaly and good.
Yeah.
A feat with this trait indicates your character's descendants from a particular type of creature. You can only have 1 lineage feat. You select lineage feat only at first level, and you can't train into and out of these feats. Yep. Okay. Great. Perfect. Okay. Elemental Assault. Single action once per day. You shroud your arms and held weapons in elemental magic. Choose 1 element. Until the end of your next turn, your strikes deal an additional 1d6 damage of the indicated type and have the trait corresponding to the element. Electricity for air, bludgeoning for earth, fire for fire, or cold for water. That's pretty cool. For how long again? End of your next turn. I mean, it's a level 1. That's okay. It gives you like a bit of flexibility that you could potentially use for the whole game. Being able to do elemental damage is not common in martial characters that don't have magic weapons, and being able to add some magic damage in a certain situation, even if it's only 1d6, it's better than nothing. I like it. I think it's good.
Elemental Embellish. You summon a harmless but impressive elemental display. You become trained in intimidation. If you would automatically become trained in intimidation, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. When you demoralize a foe, which stacks on all other fear effects, if you choose Demoralize via an elemental display, Demoralizes loses the auditory trait and gains the visual trait, and you don't take penalties when you attempt to demoralize a creature that doesn't understand your language.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. I think it's I guess like I was trying to figure out why intimidation of all things, but I'm trying to like justify like the flavor behind it, and I guess it's like the wrath of nature, right? Like if there's like a storm and you're on a ship and like, oh, you can't control nature, and
no. I think the idea of it is that you're like, if you're trying to be intimidating, like, and you kind of like, you like do the I'm gonna beat the hell out of you, and then fire just kind of erupts behind you, right?
Sure.
That would be intimidating.
Yeah, that's fair. But I'd never use fire. I'd always use rock.
Rocks levitate above you.
A rock appears at your feet.
I mean, maybe your skin cracks.
That would be cool, actually. But I like a rock appears at your feet, the most mundane display. Scholar's Inheritance, level 1. Your parents devoted themselves to alchemical experiments involving elemental energy. I don't like that the feat implies what your parents do. I think there might have been another way to write that. You gain the trained proficiency rank in crafting. If you would automatically become trained in crafting from your background or class, for example, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You also gain the alchemical crafting skill feat. So it's just crafting. Cool. I dig it.
Suli John, your elemental ancestry is is what?
Oh, Jason said you summon a harmless butt is what I heard.
Oh.
Why not?
Your elemental ancestor was a genie or genie that walk the mortal world and embody all four elementals together. You inherit the genie nature as a wanderer and ability to survive in many types of environments, from the hottest deserts to the coldest tundra. You gain trained proficiency in survival. If you would automatically become trained in survival, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You gain the Forge skill feat as a bonus feat. It's their standard like lore-y kind of one, you know.
Yep. Fair enough. Level 5, only one option: Elemental Bulwark. An enemy is about to damage you with. We're on page 111 right now. By the way, an enemy is about to damage you with cold, electricity, or fire, or with a spell that has the air, earth, fire, or water trait. Okay. Okay, let me just read it first. You call upon the corresponding elements of your Suli heritage to resist the effect. You gain resistance 5 against the triggering damage. That is fair enough.
What are you confused about?
It wouldn't stack with the dualborn thing, right?
What do you mean?
It wouldn't stack with dualborn. The resistances you gain from dualborn, because resistance is override, right?
It very specifically says when you get elemental bulwark against effects of your elemental trait for a total of 5 plus half of your level. Dualborn specifically says that it works with the elemental bulwark.
Yeah.
So you gain resistance of 5 against your trait.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. I'm on board.
Yeah, it did it the other way. That's why I said it was interesting that they did it, because it says if you choose this, and then if you choose these other ones, you'll get a bonus, versus the other way around, which is like, oh, if you
saying those things on the higher level about the lower level thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I get it.
And that was the only 5th level one. That's interesting. Genie Hospitality, you can use magic to show others dessert hospitality. You can cast 2nd level Create Food once per day and Create Water twice per day as an arcane innate spell. That's so interesting. All right. I think it goes along with the like the ground shattered one. It's flavorful if that's what you want your character to do, but it's not. I don't think it's super duper impactful.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, create food and create water are pretty helpful if you're in that kind of campaign, you know. Like, yeah, we don't usually talk about rations and stuff like that. We just like, I'm going to subtract this much gold next time we go shopping, and I'll be good until the next time we go shopping, right? But like some people do hardcore like survival, like you must keep track of every drop and crumb or you are doomed.
Which the one campaign that I play a week every week, that is the campaign we play. We look at rations, we take over travel, there's weather is a thing. Like it is a full on track everything game. So like this would be helpful. The problem is that if you're working in a group, right? Because this is a 9th level feat and it's a 2nd level spell, your party already has this more than likely if you have a caster within your group, because it is so important.
It's so mandatory. Yeah, that totally makes sense, honestly. Janny Magic, the magic of John. Is it John or Jan? Runs through your blood. You can cast Enlarge and Speak with Animals once per day as second level arcane innate spells. It's cool. They're both useful. Enlarge is, I think, usually great, and Speak with Animals, it kind of depends on your GM, I guess. Some GMs are really weird about Speak with Animals. Like some GMs, it takes a lot of decisions to decide how useful this is. You know what I mean? Like, is your GM going to allow you to find animals, or are you going to have to make a check for it? And then like, how intelligent do the animals become? Like, I understand that it lists that kind of stuff in the spell, but a lot of GMs kind of do their own thing with that, in my experience. So depending on how this is played, very useful or slightly less useful. It's level 9. I don't know. I don't know why they're getting all these 2nd level spells at level 9, but it's okay.
Tetra Elemental Assault. This is prerequisite Elemental Assault. Your Elemental Assault cycles through all 4 elements. When you use Elemental Assault, instead of choosing a single element, you can choose an element from the list when using the action, and then choose a different element at the beginning of each of your next 3 turns without spending an action. Once you have chosen an element, you can't choose it again during this Elemental Assault, meaning you must select all 4 elements over the course of 4 turns. Each time you choose an element until the beginning of the next turn, your strikes deal an additional 1d6 damage of the indicated type and have the trait corresponding to that element. That's cool. I like it.
That's cool. I think that's a really clever way to make that level 1 feat scale. Because like what I was saying, like, oh, it's hard as Marshall to do elemental damage. And 1d6, even just 1d6 is okay. But this is 4d6 now over 4 turns, but still. I think that's cool.
And then if you do the dual born as well, it also has like the additional effect as well. So if you go dual born, elemental assault, because both of those are first level.
Because you do element or element 1, element 2 if you do dual born, as opposed to going through all 4, which is cool. I like that. I mean, it's still 46, right? So
yeah. It's 4d6, but it's helpful if you're fighting specific enemies, right?
Slightly more focused damage types, which is fine in some cases, less fine in others, and I think it balances well, you know.
Continuous assault requirement, elemental assault. You can use elemental assault once per hour instead of once per day. So you
get elemental Bulwark. You gain 10 resistance from elemental Bulwark instead of 5. Boom. Two flat, just straight upgrades to level 1 things at level 13.
You have okay. No, we haven't complained enough. I'm going to go forward. I was just saying it'd be nice if those were aspects of it already. Like it just like that. It was a feat that just naturally progressed. Like that just got better based on like if you choose this feat at this level, at this level, like it scales with your level, like or half your level. You know,
I don't know. I think the resistances are strong enough that they don't really need to. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's something that it's a little.
Then again, most resistance are 5, 10, 50. Like they're not like 7. You know, they're not a weird number. So that makes sense. I see. I'm overreacting. Like I said, silly.
See, that's why you felt a little uneasy about it at the beginning.
Yeah. Sully Amir, you have the power connected to the powerful John Amir. You can cast Read Omen at 4th level and 4th level invisibility each once per day as arcane innate spells, and you can cast Detect Magic at will as an arcane innate cantrip. Heightened spells equal to half your level rounded up.
So Read Omens, for those that don't know, is an uncommon divination prediction spell. It is a 10-minute cast. You peek into the future, choose a particular goal, event, or activity that will occur within 1 week. You learn a cryptic clue or piece of advice that could help with the chosen event, often in the form of a rhyme or omen. Again, highly dependent on your GM's willingness to like come up with that on the fly. And how well they are, or how good they are at rhyming.
Yeah, don't rhyme. Sylph? Scythe? How would you say it?
Sliff. I think it's Sliff. I don't think it's Sylph. Sliff? No, that would Sylph. I think it's Sylph. Sylph.
Do you want to read the flavor text?
Yes. Sylphs are an intense and lively people, flighty and oh my goodness. Tempestuous?
Sure.
These planar scions have kinship to beings from elemental air such as Djinn, invisible stalkers, and cloud dragons. Nice. I love this art here. It's like
which one? Which one are we looking at?
Oh, the one on 112, right below the flavor text.
I love that.
The shocking white and like casually sitting on a little puff of air. Also, Avatar: Last Airbender, anybody? I love that series. Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, but you can't do it because there's already going to be an Avatar tabletop RPG.
I can do whatever I want. Do you think the copyright police are going to come to the home game?
I mean, I don't know. Did you watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World? The vegan police will knock down your wall.
They kind of look like that too. That's funny.
All right. Sliff Heritage.
114, page 114.
Yep. You descend from air elementals or were born under an elemental influence. You gain the Sliff trait. In addition to the trait from your ancestry, you also gain low light vision or dark vision if your ancestor already has low light vision, and you choose you choose from the Sliff feat or your ancestor whenever you gain this ancestry feat. Yeah. Same shit.
That's fine. Okay, this, by the way, on the left, that's the most edgy thing I've ever seen, and I love it. You got like the smoke coming out of the mouth.
You like something edgy? This is weird.
I know. Right? It is very weird.
Fume Soul. The air inside you asserts itself as a toxic miasma. Inuring you to most inuring you?
I've never seen that word in my life.
Inuring you?
Yeah.
Inuring you in most poisons, you gain resistance to poison equal to half your level, minimum 1. Love me some resistances.
Yep. And it scales with your level, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke Soul, you have a connection to smoke and haze. You gain the smoke blending reaction. Oh, it's literally right there. I was like, what's the smoke blending reaction? It's right below it. Trigger. A creature attempts a flat check to target you because you're concealed or hidden due to fog, haze, mist, or smoke. You shroud yourself in smoke, making it harder for your foe to hit you. If you're concealed, the DC of the flat check increases from 5 to 7. All right, well, see a problem. If you're hidden, it increases from 11 to 13. So what if because the way that they seem to be phrasing the reduction to these flat checks when a character has the ability to reduce the value of the check, or not the value, the DC of the check, is that they're giving it a new value. They're not reducing it by 2. They're saying, oh, if it was 5, it's now 10. But what if this Smoke Soul interacts with another feature that allows another character to reduce this value? Does that make sense? Like, oh, if you're trying to target something that's concealed, you can roll a flat check of 3 instead of 7, or if it's hidden, you can roll a DC 7 instead of 11, or something like that. I don't see how this will interact with something like that. They both define.
I mean, as a GM, I would just say that they counteract each other. So, I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah.
Is there a trait? No, there's no. Okay. Well,
all right. Storm Soul, your elemental ancestor influences manifests you in a tumultuous, thundering storm with dark clouds and bolts of lightning. You gain resistance to electricity equal to half your level. Cool.
Nice. Oh.
Wow.
Nice. Swift. You move with the wind, always at your back. Your speed increases by 5 feet. Oh, special. The speed increase from this feat isn't cumulative with any speed increase from your ancestry feats, such as Nimble Elf. Okay, so it's an untyped speed bonus that doesn't stack specifically with ancestry feats. Still okay, because then you can get that 5 feet without having to be stuck to a specific ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to pick this heritage, which is well enough. That's cool. An option. Yeah. I wonder if there's more speed stuff in this. I really hope so. That'd be cool.
Cloud Gazer, you connection with the air allows you to see through obscuring mist. You can see well enough through fog, mist, and clouds that would normally cause creatures to be concealed that you don't need to succeed a flat check to target creatures benefiting from such concealments. This is what it is, Kroog. I figured it out. I figured out the stone ground thing. I figured out this about your issue about going from 5 to 7 or from.
Oh, right.
We're thinking of it as a player versus player. We're thinking of it as a ranger versus a rogue, right?
I am. Yeah, correct.
Monsters, they may very specifically, Paizo might not have the reduce this monster's flat check.
Yeah, I get that. The thing I'm
Oops. I hit the space bar and I scrolled down.
Also, we skipped Wind Tempered. I will go back and do Wind Tempered.
Oh, sorry.
The thing that my point is more like there's no reason for it to not work with PvP. Like, I'm not saying that they should balance the game around players versus player. That should be the primary consideration in any of the choices that they make. What I'm saying is that, like, in this specific case, they could have done it in such a way that it would work with PvP, but they just chose not to for whatever reason, and I just don't understand that. You know what I mean? I always assumed that they keep it in mind, like at least in the back of their head, but maybe they don't. Maybe they just literally don't even come close to thinking about it, and they have two entirely separate groups of, like, this is how things work for players and monsters, and they only ever balance them against each other, and they never consider players interacting with players. Because, I mean, again, it's not what the game is like for per se, but also it is what the game is used for sometimes. So I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, me as a GM, I always make my big bads out of characters. Like, I make a character, but I think I'm in the minority, and I don't think it's catered for my play style. So I don't think so I think very much
there are like ways of generating, creatures, quote unquote, that they provide. So it's not like they're not giving you the tools to do it the other way, quote unquote. But I don't know. That's just me. I've seen players fight, and I think if you're in a real world, people fight. Even if you're allies, one moment you're not always. So that's not having the tools to, like, betray, or the tools to, like work out those situations where you.
John in chat is very specifically saying they say no to PvP.
I understand that, and I'm not saying that that's a bad choice. I'm just saying there are some things where I'm like, well, you could have made this work.
Yeah, but I think the idea is that why would you put the effort into making it work if you're having a stance of saying no PvP? Like, that's like a video game going, we're not going to have PvP in our game, but then adding a PvP zone into it. Like, you know what I mean? Like a forced PvP zone. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is I think it should be a minor consideration, and it's not, clearly, judging by the way these things work, which is,
I don't think it's a consideration.
The way it is.
I think it's a hard, fast rule that they have stayed away from.
Sure. Which is reasonable, because some players are dicks, let's be honest.
Wind Tempered, you can so we're going back to first level feat. Wind Tempered, you are at home in tumultuous weather and accustomed to even the hardest winds. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to saves against air and electricity effects. If you roll a success on a save effect of air effect, you get a critical success instead. I like it. It's good.
But not an electricity effect? Why not? Rude?
I'm I don't know what to tell you.
That's weird that it gives you the circumstance bonus to electricity, but not the step increase of your success. But whatever, that's fine. It's level 1. I honestly think it would be too strong if it was that broad, You already did Cloud Gazer.
Yep.
I'm gonna do Slip with the Breeze, which means that we are now on page 115. Prerequisites: expert in athletics, not something I would. Oh, but athletics is tied to jump, so yeah, that makes sense. You create a gust of wind when you jump, allowing you to carry yourself across greater distances. You gain the quick jump and powerful leap skill feats as bonus feats. Nice. That is awesome. That is a really great feat. Those two are 5 is a little bit late to be picking those up, but the fact that you get them both for free and that frees up 2 skill feats for you is awesome.
That's phenomenal. I think that's a phenomenal feat.
Yeah, you have to go without those 2 until level 5, but then you get them both. That's awesome.
Yeah. The Djinn magic. The magic of the Djinn runs through your blood. You can cast Gust of Wind and Invisibility once per day as a 2nd level arcane innate magic. If those are things that are interesting you as a martial class, sure. If you're playing a caster, this is boring and dumb.
And it's level 9. 2nd level and level 9 is just meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's once per day. Yeah, not into it as a caster. Inner breath. Your body is capable of recycling its own air. When you hold your breath, you can do so for an additional hour. At the end of this hour, your body needs to rest before it can recycle air again. This rest Requires 10 minutes of exposure to breathable air. I think the normal. What's the normal like? Hold your breath. Breath.
Isn't it like minute? It's like some silly like minutes per con mod or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it is something like that.
That or that could be like 3.5 or something.
I remember we went over this one time, but I don't remember what the. All right, it's not that important. I mean, it's useful if your world has water. Not as good as Wings of Air though. Nice.
So drowning and suffocation. You can hold your breath for a number of rounds equal to 5 plus your Constitution modifier. So it's rounds. Reduce your remaining air by 1 round at by the end of each of your turns, or by 2 if you attacked or cast any spell that turn. You also lose 1 round worth of air each time you are critically hit or critically fail a save against damaging effects. If you speak, including casting spells with verbal components, you lose all remaining air.
Good. But you can use verbal components. That's good to know. That's hilarious.
Once.
Yeah, true. Well, no, because do you immediately like go unconscious if you lose all your air, or do you have?
When you run out of air, you fall unconscious and start
okay.
suffocating. You can't recover from being unconscious and must attempt a DC 20 Fortitude save at the end of each of your turns. On a failure, you take 1d10 damage, and on a critical failure, you die. On each check after the first, the DC is increased by 5 and the damage by 1d10. These increase are cumulative. Once you have access to air is restored, you stop suffocating and are no longer unconscious.
Wow. Critical failure, you die. Okay.
Yeah. I think this is strong. Like, especially if you have a like pirate or underwater or water themed thing, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to use a spell to like underwater breathing. Like, cool. At the end of an hour, you know, you're good. Like, I think that's cool. Wings of Air, 2 action once per day. You can strain to call forth feathered or cloudy wings from your back. Once manifested, your wings remain for 10 minutes, and you gain a fly speed equal to your land speed while you manifest your wings. That's strong.
That is pretty strong. It is not concentration though, which is cool. Nope. So it's 2 actions. You don't have to concentrate, and like 10 minutes, and it's equal to your land speed. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Airy step reaction once per day. Triggered by a creature targeting you with an attack or other targeted effect, and you can see the attacker. You create a blanket of fog in a 5-foot burst centered on one corner of your space. All creatures within that area are concealed, and all others are concealed to them. This concealment applies to the triggering effect, and the fog lasts for... Wait, what? This concealment applies to the triggering effect. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. And the fog lasts for 1 minute or until dispersed by strong wind. After resolving the triggering effect, you step. If an effect prevents you from stepping, you attempt to escape the effect, and you step if you succeed. That's awesome. Wow. The fact that you can, and does it have any like components that you need, like verbal somatic? No. So you can airy step while grappled, escape and step, and get a 5-foot burst of concealment. That's really, really cool. I like that a lot. I think this is like really great for a caster that doesn't want to be harassed by me specifically.
Hey, guess what? You can summon an air elemental. I'm not going to read it. So.
Hey, guess what? It's 5th level. That's all you need to know. That's the thing.
Eternal wings. If you have the wings of air, your wings are now permanently part of your body, and you gain the effects of wings of air at all times rather than just once per day for 10 minutes.
Fly speed equal to air speed. That's great. I love that.
This.
That's great at 17 as well. Like, just permanent flying is really good to just add to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hey, guess what? Storm form. I love how that rhymes. You transform into an elemental, 7th level elemental form as a primal innate spell. Same as the other guy, the previous guy.
Udine.
Undine.
Undine?
Undine? One of those two. I don't know.
I don't know. Right,
these dynamic fluid mortals trace their ancestry to creatures from the plane of water, such as Marids, water mephits, and brine dragons. I don't know how to pronounce the first one. Marids? I wonder if we're the only ones that have these pronunciation problems. I feel so self-conscious when it happens, to be 100% honest.
Okay,
that's not to say that I don't appreciate it when people correct me. I like learning how to pronounce things, but like at the same time, I'm also like, dang it, not again, you know?
Okay, so here's the thing. With this one, you get a swim speed of 10 feet and the amphibious trait. All creatures with the amphibious trait, you can breathe both water and air. You can choose from undying feats and feats from your ancestry whenever you gain an ancestry feat.
Wow. That is okay, but hold on. Amphibious has some other stuff. So
yes,
an amphibious creature can breathe in water and in air, even outside of its preferred environment, usually indefinitely, but at least for hours. These creatures often have a swim speed. Their bludgeoning and slashing unarmed strikes don't... Oh, this isn't a benefit. Their bludgeoning and slashing unarmed strikes don't take the usual -2 penalty for being underwater. That's actually another buff. I thought it had a drawback, but it does not. It has a second buff that just isn't listed here. Cool. All right. That's good. I like that.
Thank you, Synthetic Accord, for the $2.
Oh, wow. That was really nice. Thank you.
Aquatic eyes. You're connected to water grows. Water grows? Your connection to water grows. Oh, your connection to water grows.
I love that. Your connection to gross water? What?
No, it wasn't gross. I was like, what do you mean the water grows? Like,
that was perfect.
I was thinking water grows was the thing, not like the connection.
Water grows.
Anyways,
yeah.
As your connection to water grows, you can see more easily in places with less light, such as the depths of the ocean. You gain low light vision, or you gain dark vision if your ancestry already has low light vision.
Yep. I didn't catch the fact that this was called Aquatic Eyes, and I thought it was going to be something cool because it started with your connection to water grows. And I was like, wow, this is going to be... No, it's just the vision feat. Nice. Brine Soul. Your elemental ancestor's legacy asserts itself as a brackish water, like the salt water of the ocean. You gain the salt wound reaction. Oh, that sounds terrible. Salted wound is a reaction.
Undefined.
Huh?
It says undefined. Oh,
undying.
Undying. Good night, everyone.
A creature that has blood and is not at its maximum hit points hits you with a melee strike. That's really specific. You channel salt and brine from your blood into the creature's wounds. The creature must attempt a fortitude save using your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. On a failure, the creature takes 1d6 persistent acid damage and is sickened by the pain. On a critical failure, it takes 2d6 acid and is sickened 2. That seems really strong. I like that.
That is a fucking cool ass first level feat.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's hyper specific, but like it makes sense. Like, for example, on Core to Corvids, I had the rock creature attack you, right? Well, it wouldn't make sense. Like salt, it wouldn't give a crap, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, it goes, because it's not at its max hit points, meaning that it's taken damage, aka it's got cuts or wounds or something on it. Like overall, it just I like it.
It's
love
flavorful. It's strong. I just think it's good. I like it a lot. 100%. You want to do Mist Soul?
Yeah, Mist Soul. You're connecting to vaporous forms of water such as fog and mist. You gain the Mist Blending action. Mist Blending reaction is triggered. A creature attempts a flat check to target you because you're concealed or hidden due to fog, haze, mist, or smoke effect. You shroud yourself in mist, making it harder for your foe to hit you. You're concealed and have the flat. It just increases the DC from 5 to 7. And if you're hidden, it increases from 11 to 13. So we've seen this already with other.
Yep. Literally just right before this.
Yeah.
Rhyme Soul. I like how these are all souls except for Aquatic Eyes and the last one. The water inside you is cold and frozen, like sheets of ice. Oh, these are all lineages. Okay, I didn't catch that. Like sheets of ice and frigid glaciers. You gain resistance to cold equal to half your level minimum 1, and you treat environmental cold effects as if they were one step less severe. Incredible cold becomes extreme. Extreme cold becomes severe, and so on. Yeah, kind of had to be there. I mean, nothing really much to say about that one.
Yep. You're tide hardened. You're at home in a unpredictable tide. You gain a +1 circumstance bonuses to saves against cold and water effects. If you roll a success on a save against a cold or water effect, you get a critical success instead.
Are you good?
Hi.
What was that?
I don't know.
Did you?
I lost network. That was all it was.
Oh, well. Is it good now? Oh yeah, there it is. Everything's good.
We're back. We're live.
Weird.
At what point did I at what point did it fail?
I think we got through tide hardened. We'd have to check with the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think the thing that we didn't hear was me complaining about tide hardened. Because I was trying to say, if you go to wind tempered, you get a +1 circumstance bonus to saves against air and electricity effects, but the success to crit only works against air effects. But then if you go here,
I think
it's also level 1, and it saves against cold and water effects, but the success to crit success applies to cold or water effects.
And I'm gonna say what chat's probably gonna say, which is because that would make it OP as hell because electricity effects are really strong. And are like
effects not really strong.
Bludgeoning.
Isn't there like aren't there cold spells that rule? I don't really know.
I don't think so. Anyways, fluid contortionist. Wow. Again, don't know how to read. Fluid contortionist. You can ignore difficult terrain. Oh my God, you're supposed to read this one. You ignore difficult terrain moving through tight spaces that aren't tight enough to force you to squeeze. When you roll a critical failure on a check to squeeze, you get a failure instead. And when you roll a success, you get a critical success instead. You're supposed to read that one. Dang it.
I'm sorry. You just did it. I didn't say, oh, Indigo, it's your turn to read this one. You
Steam spell, 5th level.
Single action. You transform your fire spells into steam, making them more effective underwater. Oh, that's pretty cool. If your next action is to cast spell with the fire trait, you can cast it underwater. When you do so, it takes the form of scalding steam. Underwater creatures do not gain the normal fire resistance for being underwater against this spell, but they don't light things on fire or cause permanent fire damage, nor do they add other effects that would apply to fire but not steam at the GM's discretion. I love that. That's awesome. That's cool as heck.
Yeah.
That's like a unique thing that you can do that has to do with your element. I love that.
And it works across all levels, and it's a 5th level spell. It doesn't feel too strong. It doesn't feel too weak. It's flavorful, specific to your group.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. 100%.
Merid magic. You channel the magic of the Merids. You can cast Hydraulic Push and Obscuring Mist each once per day at 2nd level Arcane Innate spell. Again, if you're a martial class and you would like to have a little bit of spells, this is great. If you're a spellcaster, this sucks.
What's Hydraulic Push?
It is it pushes back someone like 10 feet and does a little bit of bludgeoning damage.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, if you crit success, 66 bludgeoning damage and is knocked back 10 feet, and then for every level that you heighten past first, it's increased by 2d6 damage.
Yep.
That's a lot of damage.
I have a witch that I built for the Calendel server, which is our RP Discord server, which is an elemental witch that has winter as their chosen thing, and it's strong. It's strong. I like it.
Fair enough.
Strong swimmer.
Skin. Oh
no.
I skipped ahead. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Your swim speed increases to match your land speed.
Sick. Yeah. I like it. Level 13, summon a water elemental. 5th level, same as all the other ones. And I'm also going to do Translucent Skin. Your body is translucent while underwater. Whenever you are fully submerged in water, you can hide from other creatures, even if you don't have cover against them and aren't concealed from them. That's really cool. That could be some like super secret Navy SEALs dive assassination thing. You're like waiting in the moat for the king's carriage to pass the drawbridge, and then you jump out and like attack them. I love that. That's so cool.
17th level, Tidal Shield, 2 actions once per day. You conjure a Force of the Tide to gain a +4 circumstance bonus to AC until the end of your next turn. Any allies adjacent to you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to AC as long as you remain adjacent to you. You can sustain the effects to a maximum duration of 5 rounds. When a creature receives a circumstance bonus to AC from Tide Shield would take damage from the attack as a reaction, you can reduce the damage to that creature by 40.
Level 17.
Yeah, but still, it's a good number.
Yeah.
After you do so, Tidal Shield ends.
Nice. That is cool. That's awesome. I don't know why they put the duration in the body as opposed to just being sustained up to 5 rounds in the like right under the traits.
I don't know.
That's a really, really tiny nitpick, and I like it a bunch.
Yeah. The Kitsune.
I love that the art here as well. That looks really cool. Kitsune are charismatic and witty people with a connection to the spiritual that grants them many magical abilities, chiefly the power to shape change into other forms. Is this going to be like more elegant beastkin? Whether they possess or whether they pass unseen among other peoples or hold hold their tails high, Kitsune are clever observers of the societies around them. I see. Okay, so there's shapeshifters with 2 forms. Fox-headed humanoid, and one largely depending on where they were raised.
Yeah, so we'll go into they get 8
so basically they gave it a way to become like a humanoid instead of a fox.
Yes.
And this is a full ancestry. This isn't a heritage.
Exactly. They get 8 hit points. They're medium. They have a speed of 25. Their ability boost is charisma, and they get a free win. Their languages are common. An additional language is equal to your intelligence modifier, and then they've got a bunch of different languages. Traits are humanoid and kinsu. You get low light vision. Change shape. You get the change shape thing, which is you transform into a specific alternate form determined by your heritage. If your heritage doesn't list a form, your alternative form is a tailless form, which is common, medium, humanoid, ancestry, prevalent where you grew up, typically human. This form is the same age and body type as your true form and has roughly analogous physical form such as hair color. Using change shape counts as creating as a disguise for the impersonation. Using deception, you can use any unarmed strike to
lose any unarmed strike.
You lose any unarmed strike from your kinson heritage or ancestry feat in this form, and you can remain in your alternate form indefinitely, and you can shift back to your true Kitsune form by using an action again. Wow, you can hear my voice going.
I am really concerned that I'm gonna not be a human anymore, because I just heard you say that you lose any unarmed strikes you gained, and if you can gain multiple unarmed strikes from this, then that's awesome. I'm all about that. That's all that I love.
Well, let's look at the different kinsu heritages, which is on page 123.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Celestial Envoy Kitsune. Whether due to Daikitsu's grace, I think I got that right. I'm not sure. I'm gonna actually butcher pronouncing your name, even though you've been helping us pronounce stuff in chat this whole time. Sebastian. Says Japanese fox spirits, and that's totally what I see too, by the way, especially that first one. And that's, I think, why I like them, because I love that whole like style. Really nice.
Also, they say you pronounce it with the E, the last
Kitsune?
E. Yeah.
Or Kitsune.
Kitsune? Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, I'm going to finish Celestial really quick. You have a strong connection to the divine, affording you certain protections. You gain the Invoke Celestial Privilege reaction. Your alternate form is a common medium humanoid ancestry prevalent to where you grew up, called a tailless form. Okay. And then the Invoke Celestial Privilege reaction. You attempt a saving throw against a divine effect, but you haven't rolled yet. You rise above the triggering effect, refusing to be harmed by it. Oh my god, I love that. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to the triggering saving throw, and to any other saving throws you attempt against divine effects until the start of your next turn. That's awesome. I love that. That's really good.
Darkfield Kitsune. You can exert your unsettling presence by subtle demoralizing others. When you do, demoralizing loses the auditory trait and gains the visual trait, and you don't take the penalty when you attempt to demoralize a creature that doesn't understand your language. You can also gain the Invigorous Fear reaction. Your alternate form is a fox, which has the statistics of a first level pest form.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you basically get first level pest form for free, like whenever you want, like a beastkin sort of. I love that.
Investigatory fear.
Invigorating fear.
Oh god. Invigorating fear. Once per hour, a creature within 60 feet gains the frightened condition. You can invigorated by the shock of a prank or the thrum of terror. You gain temporary hit points equal to the creature's level, or 3, whichever is higher. That is a great.
That's interesting.
That's a great build stacker. Ooh, I like that. Go barbarian with this. I can dig it.
That's really interesting. Yeah. That like works really well for a bunch of like fear-based stuff. Just like free temp HP. When you gain temporary. Oh, and it's not like they don't expire either. You just get the temporary hit points. That's awesome. I love that. Earthly Wilds Kitsune. You are a creature from the material world with an affinity closer to the wilds than urban society. You gain a Jaws unarmed attack that deals 1d6 piercing. Oh, yeah. Your Jaws are in the brawling group and have the finesse and unarmed traits. Your alternate form is a fox, which has the statistics of level 1 pest form.
Empty Sky Kitsune. Your spirit is open to the secrets of beyond, granting you greater access to Kitsune magic. You gain a Kitsune spell familiarity ancestry feat. Your alternate form is a common medium humanoid ancestor prevalent from wherever you grow up, typically a human, called a tailless form.
Yep. And then last one, Frozen Wind Kitsune. Kitsune.
Well, they said pronounce the E, so I'm just trying.
Yeah. Your ancestors crossed the crown of. Your ancestors crossed the crown of the world or resided on snowy peaks. You gain cold resistance equal to half your level, minimum 1. You treat the environmental cold effects as if they were one step less extreme. Incredible cold becomes extreme becomes severe, and so on. Your alternate form is a common medium, a tailless form, basically.
Yep.
That's cool. I think that's kind of the least impressive of all of them. I really like Dark Fields, and I really like Celestial Privilege. Empty Sky is good. Earthly Wilds is good. Frozen Winds, I think, is last on my list. But like they all fit like, you know, a flavor and are acceptable at the very least. You know, and none of them I'd say are like really bad.
Yeah. Internet Explorer. Foxfire. A crack of your tail sparks with wisps of blue energy. Choose either electricity or fire when you gain this feat. you gain a Foxfire ranged unarmed attack with a maximum range of 20 feet. The attack deals 1d4 damage of the chosen type. No ability modifier added to the damage roll. The Foxfire attack is a sling weapon group. Like other unarmed attacks, you can improve this attack with hand wraps of mighty blows, especially if you have a chosen wind. The Foxfire deals cold damage instead of electricity or fire.
Frozen. You said chosen. If you're the frozen wind Kitsune.
Yeah.
I'm really liking this.
Cool.
This is really cool. All of this is really cool. Kitsune lore. This is exactly what you're going to expect. You excel at navigating social situations and keeping secrets. You gain the trained proficiency rank in diplomacy and deception, because of course you do. Look at the image directly above on page 123 and tell me that you don't gain those 2 proficiencies. If you would automatically become trained in those, you can pick something else. You also become trained in Kitsune lore. Makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Retractable claws. You gain a claw unarmed attack that deals 1d4 slashing damage. Your claws are in the brawling group and are agile, finesse, and unarmed traits.
You skipped Kitsune's spell familiarity.
That's because I thought it was stupid. No, I'm just kidding.
You picked up a few magical tricks during your daily preparations. Choose Daze, Forbidding Ward, or Ghost Sound. Until your next daily preparations, you can cast this cantrip as a divine innate spell at will. A cantrip is heightened to the cantrip rules. Yeah, okay, that's okay. Better for Marshall, obviously.
Yep.
Or people that don't have access to divine.
Shape changers intuition. A lifetime of experience helps you see through disguises. When you come within 10 feet of a creature that is transformed into another form or is impersonating a specific creature, the GM rolls a secret perception check for you to realize that the creature is transformed, even if you didn't spend an action to seek against that creature. AKA, if you have this, the GM adds this into and just says, oh, you notice that they're like this, right? But it's got the waiver of like, oh, the GM rolls a secret one. So if like the big bad was this person that was hiding, they could like, oh, you failed your secret rolls. Like that. Mm-hmm. That's how that whole thing works. I'm just saying.
Yep. In chat, Kroog, what color Kitsune would you be? If you scroll back up to page 120, this like white Kitsune with red accents, except for the red accents are like blue Aurori like color. You know what I mean?
You said 120? Yeah,
that one.
So
like this kind of like off-white sort of thing, but instead of having those red accents, they'd be bluish. Like I don't know how to describe that. It's like a sky blue or a light blue or something like that. I'm bad at describing colors. Last level 1, Star Orb. Your magic has crystallized into a spherical stone. You gain a familiar. That's interesting. Except it's a star orb. Did I read that right? You gain a familiar, except it's a star orb. Okay. A tiny stone of light bulk. That's cool. What? The familiar has no speeds and must select a speed familiar ability before it can move, animating in a way appropriate to the chosen speed and using the statistics of a normal familiar for that day. When it's an immobile stone, it can't select any familiar or master abilities that require it to move. It always has the innate surge master ability. That's super interesting. I love that. Just like a unique take on a familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Can you throw it at people still? I think you can throw it at people still, right?
Why would
it doesn't. It's an immobile stone. Yeah, and
you're like I'm out of sling bullets. I'm going to use my familiar.
No. You like throw it at somebody's feet and then use it to cast a spell, because you can do that from a familiar's location, can't you?
Yes.
Can't you?
Yeah, if you spec into it, yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's cool. I love that.
All right, hybrid form, aka Beastkin. When you change shape,
what happens if you already have a familiar? I don't think you can have more than one, right?
Correct. You can only have one.
Yeah. So you just, I guess, pick one.
Yeah, and if you're choosing this feat, I assume you're choosing the stone, the star orb. That being said, I mean, this is not rules as written. This is very much me. If you want to have a familiar that's an inanimate object, I as a GM
let you.
Yeah, like
there's no reason not to, honestly.
Yeah. hybrid form. When you change shape, you retain elements of your Kinsui form, allowing you to speak in fox form using Kinsui unarmed attacks in a tailless form, or gain a tail in your tailless form to use abilities that require one. You can change shape to alter your details of your hybrid form without fully changing into your true form or your alternate form. While in hybrid form, your fox-like features make it obvious that you aren't fully humanoid.
Okay, so you basically can take any middle ground, it seems.
Yes, yes.
Okay. That's good. I think it kind of needed this. Kitsune spell mysteries. Yeah, that does say mysteries. Prerequisites. This is level 5 now, by the way, and we're on the next page, which is 125. The prerequisite is at least one innate spell from a Kitsune heritage or ancestry feat. You know more Kitsune magic during your daily preparations. Choose Bane, Illusory Object, or Sanctuary. Those are good spells, actually. You can cast this as a first level divine innate spell once that day. I'm going to do myriad forms because the other one was really short. With a bit of self-discovery, you find a new form. You gain the alternate form of a Kitsune heritage other than your own, adding it to the options for your change shape. Weren't there only two? Weren't there only tailless and pest form?
Yes.
Oh, but I guess the pest form had different, like this one is a fox, and this one is a fox, and I think they're all foxes. Am I crazy? Yeah, there's just tailless and fox, so you can just have the other one basically. Okay, I guess if they add more heritages down the line, that would also apply to those.
Tailless alternate form is a prerequisite. Once per day, you wear many faces, even though you don't belong to you. When you change shape into your tailless form, you gain the effect of a third level illusionary disguise for 1 hour, or until you shift back, except it's a transformation effect rather than illusion.
Wait.
What?
When you change shape into your tailless form, Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's neat, I guess. There's only one 9th level feat. It's a free action called Fox Trick that you can use once per hour. You always have time for a joke or a prank. You create a diversion, conceal an object, or hide. All creatures who witnessed your Fox Trick then wise up to it, becoming temporarily immune to your Fox Trick for 24 hours. You create a diversion, conceal an object, or hide. So you can just hide as a free action?
Yep.
That's pretty strong. I like that.
13th level now. Killing Stone. This requires your Star Orb. Your Star Orb hides a deadly miasma. That's the second time this word's come up, and I haven't been able to do it either times. You can cast a 5th level Cloud Kill as a divine innate spell once per day. The spell's normal components are replaced with a focus component, your Star Orb, and the somatic components to aim the orb towards the location of this for the spell.
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, for characters that don't have access to magic, that's really good. Kitsune spell expertise. This is the same thing, but you get access to choose.
Hold on. Chat says, now your familiar can do a fart cloud.
That's funny. Oh, I know this anime. Hybrid form definitely feels like a Naruto transformation. Ha! I know that one. I get it. I understand. Because the Fox of 9 Tails. Ho ho. It was a fox, right? Yeah, I think it was. Anyways. So you have Confusion, Death Ward, or Illusory Scene. Oh god, Illusory Scene's so good. You get access to choose those 3 at level 13. And then Rampaging form. You want to do it?
Yeah, Rampaging form. Prerequisite: change shape with a fox alternative form. Once per day, when you change shape into a fox, you can instead gain the effect of both the canine form, a 5th level animal form, and 7th level fiery body for 1 minute, or until you shift back. Whichever comes first, you can cast a produce flame from your fiery body effect, even though you're in battle form. form. Especially if you have if you are the Frozen Wind Kitsune, your form is ice instead of fire, and you change the immunity and damage from the fiery body to cold, change the weaknesses to fire, and change the produced flame to Ray of Frost.
That's good. There aren't many spells that are like, oh, hey, these two spells, you get all their benefits at the same time. Go. That's really strong. I like that.
Chat said, read the end of Spell Expertise.
Spell Expertise. You cast spells at 5th level divine. Oh, you become an expert in divine spell DCs and divine spell attack rolls. That is it's an innate spell though. Don't innate spells not do that? Oh, am I dumb? No, maybe innate spells are always trained unless you have a higher DC. These spells, magical tradition, innate spells refreshed, blah, blah, blah. You're always trained in spell attack rolls and spell DCs for your innate spells, even if you aren't otherwise trained. Oh, if your proficiency in spell attack rolls or spell DCs is expert or better, apply that proficiency to your innate spells. All right, cool. So it does not make it, it doesn't cancel itself out. That's awesome. That makes it way better than the previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's sick.
All right, Sprite. I love the Sprite. Oh, it's so cool.
The tiniest little guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a little. Okay, hold on. First of all, 6 HP. You're tiny. Your speed is 20 feet, which is slow. Your ability booster, Dex and Int, and a free boost. Your ability flaw is obviously Strength.
Mm-hmm.
Your languages are common in Sylvan, and you have access to Celestial, Draconic, Elven, Gnomish, Goblin, Jotun, and any other languages. You have the Fey and the Sprite traits. You get low light vision, and you get magical strikes. Your inherent magic pervades your entire being. All your strikes are magical, whether with unarmed attacks or weapons. That's kind of stacky with stuff that Monk already gets anyway, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But what's this sidebar? Where's the sidebar? On page 128? Okay. Tiny PCs. PCs are typically small or medium size, but most Sprite PCs are tiny instead. Being tiny comes with its own set of rules about space and reach. Your tiny Sprite can enter another creature's space, which is important because your melee strikes typically have no reach, meaning you must enter their space to attack them. Like other tiny creatures, you don't automatically receive lesser cover from being in a larger creature's space, but circumstances might allow you to take cover. You can purchase weapons, armor, and other items for your size with the same statistics as normal gear, except that melee weapons have a reach of 0 for you, or a reach of 5 feet shorter than normal if they have the reach trait. Remember to adjust the bulk of items and your bulk limit for tiny size. Core Rulebook, page 295. So you can occupy other creatures' space, like naturally, but you lose 5 feet of reach, basically.
Yep.
Which most weapons have 5 feet of reach. So you have to be in a creature's space. That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. And I'm assuming it comes with other kind of fringe benefits that aren't really listed, right? Like in situations where the rest of your party has to squeeze, you very well. No, actually, in situations where your party has to squeeze, you don't have to squeeze because you're tiny and they're small or medium.
Yep.
That's pretty good. I'm really happy they didn't take away occupying other creatures' space. So that like gives it its own unique thing, you know.
All right, so Draxi, this is the heritage for the sprites. Draxi, you are kin to the fairy dragons, tracing your heritage back to the death of the mightiest fairy dragon in the first world. You gain touch telepathy, allowing you to communicate silently and purely mentally with a creature you're touching, as long as you share a language.
That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Greg, you have the hindquarters of a cricket and adore art and music. Your cricket legs grant you... That's such a weird sentence. Your cricket legs grant you a +2 circumstance bonus on athletics checks to high jump or long jump.
Wait.
And you gain ghost sound as a primal innate cantrip.
Kroog.
Yes.
Kroog.
Yes.
We finally figured it out.
What?
We know what's on the cover now. It's a sprite.
Ah.
The hind end of a cricket.
That is what it is. You are right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure somebody already told us that, but you are right. You're on page 129, by the way.
I'm already there.
Boom.
Luminous sprite. You glow with the magical luminance. You naturally shed light as a torch. This light has evocation, light, and primal traits. You can extinguish, rekindle, or change the color of this light using a single action, which has the concentrate trait.
Rave party?
Well, I was thinking about the Ifrits and the fact that they have a glow and that it like gives them penalty. But this one is a concentration versus the other one, which is just it just happens.
Yep, it just exists always.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly like the fact that you can extinguish it though, because it.
Yep.
I mean, it's a heritage anyway. So if you didn't want it, you could just not take the heritage. But
yep,
it's good. I really like Greg way better, to be completely honest.
Sure.
That +2 circumstance bonus is a little bit less valuable because you already have penalty to strength, and you're probably not putting a whole bunch into strength.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd have to be trying to build a really fringe, weird character. But if you want to do that and you want to optimize for athletics, you should. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Melixi, that's cute. You have the features of a bee, a butterfly, or other insect that loves sweets. You can ask questions of and receive answers from arthropods. Okay. This also gets into that, like, how intelligent is a bug going to be, or does the magic carry it all the way, like, and just it can speak like any other sentient, ancestry. It's a really fine line that your GM is going to be on one side or the other of, as well as use diplomacy to make an impression on and request things from them. It might explain it here. Most bees, butterflies, and moths and beetles have an indifferent or friendly starting attitude towards you and give you the time to make your case, though other arthropods react to you like any other adventurer. So what, they get squished? I don't understand what it means by they react to you like any other adventurer. Oh, like any other adventurer that wasn't you.
Yeah, they're indifferent.
Okay.
It's just and then as for the intelligence thing, remember, size doesn't necessarily affect your intelligence. Right? You could be a very large creature and be very dumb, and you can be a very small creature and be very smart.
I'm not saying it does. I'm saying that the average intelligence of a bug is different than the average intelligence of like a mammal, like a dog, for example. Dog is way smarter than bug generally.
Not necessarily. It depends on the type of bug.
Maybe.
I'm serious. Like for example, like this isn't a bug, but like crows, right? Crows are extremely smart and can actually deal with multi-step puzzles and quizzes and stuff like that they do. Same too, I think. Yeah. So, and then there are some bees that can also do this. Like they've been able to like pull strings to get honey that they couldn't originally get because it was in a small space. So, like insects can be very intelligent.
Chat says bugs just want you to think they're dumb, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I've fallen victim to the bug propaganda.
Mm-hmm. And then spiders build traps. Like this is the whole thing.
This whole time I'm talking about this like this GM that doesn't exist that thinks that bugs are dumb. In reality, it's me. I'm the guy that I'm talking
about. Okay, which one are we on right now? The near track. Yeah, that one.
Nictera.
What you said.
Not fair.
You have bat-like features, an affinity for batkin, and that is second to none. Hearing that is second to none. As long as you can hear normally, you can use seek action to sense undetected creatures in 60 feet cone instead of a 30-foot cone. You also get a +2 circumstance bonuses to locate undetected creatures you could hear within 30 feet with a seek action. Cool.
Nice. And then Pixie, you're larger than other sprites. Instead of tiny, your size is small. Who would want that? Play a gnome. Just kidding. You don't got to do that. Just
I wonder why.
Tiny's the good part. I like the tiny. Don't take away the tiny.
Well, I mean that changes.
It's nice to have the option. I'm just being a schmuck.
It changes. It's also nice because then you gain that 5-foot reach.
Yep.
Yeah. Corgi mount feature, first level. The smallest of the Fae have ridden corgis as mounts since time immemorial, leading to a pattern of corgis' backs called the fairy saddle, and you form a magical connection with a corgi that can serve you as a mount. Your corgi familiar is small rather than tiny, and is appropriate for use as your mount. Unlike other familiars, it has the scent ability, which counts against your limit for familiar and master abilities as normal. Furthermore, you can never gain a familiar ability that grants any speed other than land speed. If you're a pixie, you can't ride a corgi due to your size, but you can take the feat to gain a corgi familiar.
I am gravely offended that this is not a general feat. Why is this not a general feat? How is this not a general feat?
Humans riding corgis.
Yes. Get on two of them like roller skates.
Corgis are now large creatures.
I'm saying they'd work as roller skates. It's fine.
I think this is the one I would take. I think this is the next feat.
That is the memest. Oh, you're talking about evanescent wings?
Yeah.
Evanescent? Hey. You've manifested wings that can flutter for brief spurts. You don't need to spend any additional actions to reach something in your space that a medium creature could reach. For instance, if you wanted to open a cookie jar located 4 feet off the ground, you only need to spend a single interact action to do so. When you use evanescent wings to flutter to a higher place in your space, your action gains the move trait. Okay, so basically, you don't need to spend any additional actions to reach something in your space that a medium creature could reach.
Yeah,
I see. So, okay.
Because you're technically like tiny, you're.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Fey cantrip. You learn the cantrip sprites have used since the time immemorial. This is the second time in 3 feats that this has been used. You gain dancing light and ghost sound as a primal innate cantrip. If you have a Grig heritage, you also gain detect magic, and if you have the Trixie heritage, you gain prestidigitation.
Corgi Mount is the new meta because of the independent familiar ability, giving you a free move each turn. Or if you want to spend an action to command your Corgi, you can move twice. That's not wrong. That's actually pretty good now that I think about it. Yeah, because monks can do that for a focus point. Like that's compared to like this. That's pretty good. Where are we? Speak with bats. Did you speak with bats?
Nope, we're on speak with bats.
Okay. You need to have the Nyctera heritage to speak with bats. You can ask questions of, receive answers from, and use diplomacy skill with bats. You get a +2 circumstance bonus on all diplomacy checks to make an impression on bats or request something from bats. Ta-da.
Sprite Spark. You can fling a portion of magic at foes. You gain a ranged unarmed attack in a sling weapon group with a maximum range of 20 feet and deal 1d4 damage. No ability modifier is added to the damage roll. The damage type and name of the unarmed attack depends on your heritage, described below. Most sprite heritage not presented in the book also use Illuminescence Spark. Like other unarmed attacks, you can improve the attack with hand reps and mighty blow. Drax gets the Euphoric Spark, which is mental. The Fairy Sprite gets the Luminescence Spark, which is fire. Grig gets a Dissonant Note, which is sonic, and Meletrix gets a Sting Shot, which is poison. Oh god, there's 2 more. Nitrix get Ultrasonic, which is sonic, or Ultrasonic Pulse, which is sonic, and Pixies get Pixie Dust, which is metal.
That is awesome. I love this. I love that. I love how all these things interact with having to be in someone's space. Like you look at this in the context of other characters and it's not as valuable, but then you're like, oh, but also I need to be in people's space. So 20 feet range is pretty nice.
Yep.
Animal Speaker. Prerequisites: ability to communicate with some type of animals, such as bats or arthropods. It doesn't say that you have to gain that from this ancestry, so that's good to know. You can speak to all animals, not just a particular subset. You get a +1 circumstance bonus to make an impression on animals, which usually uses the diplomacy skill. Nice. I'm assuming that means you can that you need to be able to communicate with some type of animals like inherently, as opposed to like being able to cast speak with animals on yourself when you want to. You know what I mean?
I would yes, because yes, it's not something that you can swap out. It is something that you have to have.
Yeah.
Catchy tune, 1 action. You can create a tune so catchy your foes can't help but dance along. Attempt a performance check against a will DC of all enemies in a 30-foot emanation. Critical success, the target takes a -10 status penalty to its speed, and flat-footed, both for 1 round. Success, the target takes a -5 foot penalty for speed for 1 round. Critical failure, the target is temporarily immune for 1 hour.
That's pretty cool for a 1 action level 5. -10 status foot. I mean, assuming that you're, in a situation where you're up against a lot of things that are trying to, maybe if you're trying to retreat. I think this is really cool. I like this a bunch. Fey disguise. You can. Sorry, what?
No, go.
You can disguise yourself with magical illusions. You can cast illusory disguise once per day as a 1st level primal innate spell. 7th level, it's good that it scales. 7th level, the spell's heightened to 2nd level, and every 2 levels thereafter, the spell's heightened an additional spell level. Yeah, it's good for, martial characters that don't have access to magic, and it's flavorful. And I like that it scales way better than all the other the heritage feats that give you access to magic so far.
100%. Energize wings.
Holy crap! Look at this. That's beautiful. I love that. Those wings are awesome.
And again, I knew that this feat, I haven't read through this, but I knew this feat was going to happen. Prerequisite evanescent wings. Once per hour, you stroke your magic to energize your wings, temporarily transforming them into a glowing, majestic form. For 1 minute, you gain a fly speed of 30 feet.
You said stroke your magic, which makes me just kind of a giggity, just like a really aggressive giggity.
You stoke your magic. You stroke your magic. This is my magic. Many are like it, but this is mine.
Nope. Yes, I definitely agree that this feat almost had to be in here. Level 9, Fey magic. You can use fairy magic to hide yourself and expose hidden foes. You can cast fairy fire and invisibility each once per day as primal innate spells. Hello, this is my microphone. I'm sorry if that hurt your ears.
It wasn't loud.
Do it on purpose.
All right, Fey skin, 13th level. While you're most susceptible to cold iron than most of the wingless, you also have incredible resilience to deep connection to the healing energies of the first world. Increase your maximum hit points by an amount equal to your level. If your rest for 10 minutes, brilliant light from the first world seeps into your form from your wings, or the spot where your wings would be, causing you to regain a number of hit points equal to your level. This is cumulative with any hit points you regain from treat wounds. However, you gain a weakness 5 to cold iron.
I was thinking to myself the whole time you were reading that, like, where does it say you're more susceptible to cold iron? And at the very end.
I was too. I legit was too. Seriously, really was.
That's hilarious. I love that. Invisible Trickster. You've learned how to become invisible and remain so. You can cast 4th level invisibility as a primal innate spell once per hour. I'm going to do the next one too. That's too short. Level 17, the Hero's Wings. You need to have energized wings as a prerequisite. You have begun the final steps to reaching your full potential. Your wings are always in their majestic form without you needing to use energized wings, granting you a permanent fly speed. Furthermore, sprites recognize you as a powerful hero or villain by your unique wings and are appropriately impressed. I'm pretty sure this is what we're seeing on the right, by the way.
Yep.
You have a +2 circumstance bonus on all diplomacy and intimidation checks against sprites and gain the benefits of the Glad Hand skill feat against other sprites without taking the -5 penalty to diplomacy. I don't know what Glad Hand does.
I'm looking it up right now.
Thank you.
Glad Hand feat. Expert diplomacy is a prerequisite. First impressions are your strong suit. When you meet someone in a casual or social situation, you can immediately attempt a diplomacy check to make an impression or that creature rather than needing to concert for 1 minute. You take a -5 penalty to the check.
Yep. Cool.
Fly speed. Boom. Bestest things.
Yep. That's pretty strong.
All right, so this is the last one, which is good because we're going on 3 hours.
Yeah.
Strix.
Known as Itari in their own language, Strix are reclusive avian humanoids. You're just going to get fly speed innately, aren't you? Devoted to their homelands and their tribes. They defend their precious communities with broad wingspans and razor talons. Oh, they're going to have cool unarmed attacks. I'm mad. 8
hit points, medium-sized, 25 feet, speed, dexterity, and a free ability boost. Common and Strix for their language, and they get bonus languages based off their intelligence. Traits, humanoid, and Strix. Wings. All Strix possess powerful wings. While not all Strix focus on honing their flying skills, a strong flap of their wings allows Strix to travel longer distances while jumping. When leaping horizontally, you move an additional 5 feet. You don't automatically fail your checks to high jump or long jump if you don't stride at least 10 feet first. In addition, when you make a long jump, you can jump a distance up to 10 feet further than your athletics check result, though still with the normal maximum of your speed. And on top of that, they get low light vision.
That's pretty cool until you almost certainly get a fly speed, and then it becomes like irrelevant, right?
Yup.
Because like, how are you gonna jump at that point? Why would you jump when you could just like, oh, I'm gonna be there now?
This artwork, I love this.
Yeah.
On 134, she looks so cool.
And then like the facial expression and the like, I don't know,
tattoos,
just like
the
powerful. They look so powerful. Even the one on 132, they just look so like confident. I love it. God, Paizo, calm down with the art quality. Jeez.
All right, here's some heritage.
Night Rider, Night Glider, Night Glider. You are Night Rider.
Kit, I can't do
that. What I did there. You are a dedicated nocturnal avian, keeping watch and predating in the most lightless environments. You get that whole thing, just you get in dark vision. Cool.
Yep. Predator Strix. You come from a line of Strix with extraordinarily broad wings and lengthy talons. You gain a talon melee unarmed attack that deals 1d4 slashing damage. Your talon dealing is the brawler group and is agile, finesse, and unarmed trait.
Sure, that's pretty unimpressive. I mean, slashing is useful, but the rest of it's kind of meh. Scavenger Strix. Your ancestors originated from the land where food was scarce and threats were many. You're trained in survival. You gain the Forager skill feat as a bonus feat, which is good. Your thoroughness when gathering food provides a +1 circumstance bonus to survival checks to subsist. So it's just all about food.
That's a lot. But that's still cool.
Yeah.
Shoreline Strix. You are descended of Strix who traveled to the coast. Your feathers are especially water repellent and sleekly angled for diving, allowing you to catch fish and prey in the shallow. You are trained in athletics, and you gain the Underwater Marauder skill feat as a bonus skill feat.
That's cool. I wouldn't have thought that they would use that flavor in here, but they did, and I like it a lot. The underwater stuff. Songbird Strix. Oh, I love this. I already love this just by the name. You descend from a talented line of Strix storytellers from the highest mountains and the purest landscapes, where your lungs fill with glorious clean air. You trill, whistle, and croon sweet songs. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. While natural sounds make you predisposed to sing, voices make you predisposed to mimicry. You receive a +1 circumstance bonus on deception checks to impersonate a mimicked voice, where the sound of the voice is the only factor. Where the sound of the voice. Oh, like so you have to like know the language and stuff like that. If you are a master in deception, you get a +2. You also get a +1 circumstance bonus to performance checks to sing. If you are a master, you get a +2 instead. That's cool. Built-in scaling and 2 useful bonuses, I think. Like impersonated voices. I mean, I would never imagine doing that because I wouldn't be able to pull it off, but I can see it being very useful for characters that are built that way.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the feats. The first
hold on. Before we start, what level do you get a fly speed? What's the bet?
I don't know. They've all been 17 so far. I'm gonna say, what's the one before that? 15th? No, 14th. 13th?
So
13.
5, 9, 13, 17.
13. I'm gonna go with 13.
I'm gonna go 9.
All right.
Let's do it. I have no way of proving this, but I didn't look ahead.
Anyways, Nestling Fall. You trust the strength of your wings and can spread them to glide safely to the ground. As long as you can act, you take no damage from falling, no matter what distance you fall.
Oh God, I want that so badly.
You already don't take enough damage for fall as it is.
Yeah, but I have to be near a wall and like so many conditions. This is just, you don't take any damage. That's great. Story crooner. You're a talented story weaver and use your voice effectively. You're trained in performance. You're trained in performance. If you would automatically become trained in performance, you get to pick something else. You also gain the impressive performance skill feat and gain a +1 circumstance bonus when performing for an audience of Strix. That's interesting. I think that's the first time we've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the implication if like most of the audience is Strix? What if it's like 90% Strix, but then the rest is like a menagerie of other stuff? Like, what is the ratio that if it's like 50-50 Strix and other stuff, do you still get the bonus?
I don't know.
Because it can't be all Strix. Like, it has to, if it's everybody is a Strix except for the one human, it should still work, right?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I think it's 50-50. That's what I'm saying. You heard it here first. The errata is going to come out for this, and it's going to say add the composition of the audience must be at least 50% Strix in order to receive the +1 circumstance bonus. Boom.
I think it's going to be based off your GM. Strix Defender. Your ancestor feud with humans, giving you experience dealing with vicious foes, and your vengeance knows no bound. You get a +1 circumstance bonus to intimidation, perception, and survival checks against humans, as well as on damage rolls against humans with weapons and unarmed attacks. However, your hatred for humans is immediately obvious, giving you a -2 circumstance bonus penalty to diplomacy checks against them, and usually starting their attitude one step worse towards you. Wow. Only thing I would change, or I would be willing to homebrew with my group, if you didn't want it to be humans.
Sure. I understand that it's
something else. Yeah, I would be down for that.
The lore is specifically that you have an ancestral feud with humans, but like as a GM, I genuinely don't care, and I would let a player just choose whatever.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, my family had a fight with orcs or goblins or trolls or whatever, right?
Yep.
I would boom right there.
And I love the one that makes you, I mean, let's be honest, a little bit racist is an optional one, and that they didn't put it in the like mandatory part of the ancestry. I really hate it when they do that. When they're like, oh yeah, you hate humans because you're a giant and you just don't like them because they hunted your kind. That's not how that works.
Yep. Most exciting first level, go for it.
Hate you. You're well connected to your tribe and perhaps even... Oh, I should read. It's Strix lore, level 1. You're well connected to your tribe and perhaps even Strix communities beyond your own, where you've learned about the land and techniques of graceful move. I like how you're scrolling past it before I'm even done. You gain the trade proficiency rank in acrobatics and nature. If you would automatically become trained, you get to choose something else. You also become trained in Strix lore. Thank you. I appreciate your kind patience.
5th level, Feathered Cloak. You blend in with the grounded and the wingless. You fold your wings so that you sew on your back, creating an illusion of a feathered cloak. You receive a +2 circumstance bonus to deception checks to impersonate a person of yourself who is not a Strix. Additionally, your folded wings help you obscure objects on your person, providing a +2 circumstance bonus to stealth checks to conceal an object.
Am I dumb? I don't understand how this works. To blend in with the grounded and the winglet.
You take your big old ass wings that you got, and they turn in. Yeah.
I get it. I don't know what I was like. you can bend your wings in such a way that they fit under a cloak. I don't get it. Okay, I understand. Fledgling flight. Oh, frequency once per round. You can fly through the air in short bursts at half your land speed. You don't end your movement. If you don't end your movement on solid ground, you fall at the end of your turn. This does not count, right?
Nope. No.
Yeah,
This
it's
is not
a flight speed.
No.
Yeah.
Strix Vengeance. Reaction once per 10 minutes. You or a Strix ally you can see are damaged by an enemy's critical hit. So this is very specific.
A Strix ally?
Mm-hmm.
You or a Strix ally you can see are damaged by. Okay, so here's where I'm at with this. It has to be valuable for just being usable on myself, and then I'll take it, you know?
You dedicate yourself to destroying those who harm your kind. Until the end of your turn, you deal an additional 1d6 damage on strikes against the triggering enemy. The bonus increases to 2d6 if you use striking weapons or unarmed attacks, and a 3d6 if you use a major striking weapon or unarmed attack.
That's pretty good. I like that. That's some good damage. I don't like the flavor at all.
I wish it was just hurting your ally. Like, I wish it was more.
It's a little xenophobic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like a little bit, like, what's the word where it's like kind of nationalistic, but not really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of like that whole vibe that I'm getting from this whole thing.
Yep.
And I just want to cut this off at the pass. I understand that there's a history, right? And that like, one, there's a history of the way that these were designed in previous versions. I get that. And I also understand that there's a history in the lore, and I get that as well. And I, despite those two things, still don't like it. That's where I'm at.
I mean, me personally, I will never play a game, and this is like one of the first things I tell my table, is that we do not play in a world where racism exists. Like, you don't hate goblins because they're goblins. You don't hate orcs because they're orcs. Orcs are orcs, humans are humans, goblins are goblins, elves are elves. There is no innate ancestry hatred from one group to another. Yeah. Like at its base.
One group of an ancestry might be upset at another group that recently like did them harm, but they're not upset because they are of the other group. They're upset because they did them harm, right? Yeah, I don't like the vibe. Thrown Voice, level 5. You've learned how to throw your voice through the winds, tricking others as to your location. You can cast Ventriloquism as a primal innate spell once per day. If you're a Songbird Strix, you can cast it twice per day instead. That's cool. I like how you can still take it even though you're not a Songbird, but also the Songbird gets a little bit of a buff. And by a little bit of a buff, I mean can literally do it twice as often. That's a huge buff.
All right. Ferocious Gust, 9th level, 2 actions once per 10 minutes. With a heavy wing beats, you whip up furious gusts and direct it at your opponent, and the air blast has the effect of a gust of wind with the DC equal to your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher.
Yeah, good for marshals or people that don't have access to that spell and really want it. Juvenile Flight, once per day, you unfold your wings for travel and can keep them unfolded for 10 minutes. Dang it. You gain a fly speed equal to your land speed where your wings are unfurled. If you have Fledgling Flight, you gain... it's not a prerequisite. I would have assumed, but I guess not. That's awesome. You gain a plus 10-foot status bonus to your fly speed. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay, so if you already have a status bonus to your land speed, and your land speed is your fly speed, does the 10-foot status bonus to your fly speed like stack?
Those are both status bonuses, though.
Yeah, but one's technically to your land speed and one's technically to your fly speed.
I would say no.
I would say yes. Because then
you just like speed, though.
I mean, yeah, but that you can't discriminate against me because I enjoy speed. Rude. It would make taking Juvenile Flight useless if you have a status bonus to your land speed, which like that seems like a weird condition to make that feat useless. You know? I mean,
it's also an optional spell. It's not a prerequisite for this.
Yeah, that's true. Let's finish reading it first of all. You can as normal since your fly. It's literally going to answer the question right now. As normal since your fly speed is derived from your land speed, the status bonus isn't cumulative with status bonuses to your land speed if you have one. Boom. All right, touche. Fair enough. I'd argue that they put that paragraph, that sentence there because My thing was intuitive.
No, I think it's there because of gamey players.
Excuse you.
Rock unknown on arts. Yes, that 9th level.
Perfect.
Ancestry spirits have begun to bond themselves to you, granting you powers characteristically of the Rakoa. You can cast Speak with Animals and Status as a primal innate spell once per day each.
Spells. Wing Step with sharp.
Okay, because it's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Keep reading. Right.
I know. I just didn't keep reading. Leave me alone. Just trying to do the thing. Okay. Where are we? Wing Step.
Wing Step.
Single action, level 9. With a sharp flap of your wings, you stay light on your feet as you move. You step twice. Oh, step twice. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Stepping's useful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there is no 17th level.
Correct.
So we have not hit the fly speed yet.
Yep, I feel like you're probably right. It's probably this feat called Fully Flighted.
Ancestor's transformation, 13th level. You can commune with Ancestor spirit to assume the form of an enormous primeval Strix. You can cast a 5th level aerial form as a primal innate spell once per day, but you take the form of a primeval Strix using the statistics for a bird form. Cool.
It's just like the elementals, honestly. And then Fully Flighted. You need to have Juvenile Flight for this, which is what we expected. Well, what I expected. You gain the effects of Juvenile Flight at all times, rather than just once per day for 10 minutes. This includes a status bonus to your speed if you have Fledgling. Oh, cool. Nice. That's cool. So you basically gain a fly speed equal to your land speed and a 10-foot status bonus.
If you have the Fledgling Flight.
If you have Fledgling Flight. Okay. Yeah, I dig it. That's awesome.
Boom.
Easy peasy.
I got that bet. What did we bet?
We bet that if you won, I would get $5, and if I won, you would get $5. It was a cool little, like, remember we said it was going to be a cool little twisty flipperoo.
Anyways, so that's it. We've already gone through weapons. There is a bunch more in this book, but we're not gonna go over it.
Especially not tonight, because oh boy, we've been on here for 3 hours and I am hungry.
All right, so we're gonna say goodbye, but I wanted to say one thing. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit. I got this cool shirt today. It says Cool Blood on it.
Cool.
Cool Bloods is a thing that I helped invent over on Vancouver by Night. Because on Vancouver by Night, or Vampire in general, there's a group of people called the Thin Blood, and it's like a term that gets used as like a derogatory term. So I was like, excuse me, it's Cool Blood. Thank you very much. It's Cool Blood because we're cool, we're awesome. Everyone wants to be like us. We're the Cool Bloods. And then the real vampires, quote unquote, decided to start calling themselves Thick Bloods. So, look, I don't make the rules up. It's just what happened. But yeah, they have it up on their store. I bought it to go and support them. You should support all of your content creators. Speaking of, right below this video, there's a link for all of our merch if you want to check that stuff out and buy and help us grow big. If you didn't already, please make sure to hit that like button. There are like 60 people in here and there are only 36 likes. So get on it. I'm just kidding.
He's not kidding. What the
thank you so much for watching as much as you possibly could watch of this. I appreciate it very much. This video is going to be up probably almost instantaneously after this. So thank you all.
It is not set to not become available instantaneously, and so it will be.
Yeah. Boom. So thank you all so much. Do you want to say anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye. And I'm clicking all the buttons to end the stream because there's 5.
Yeah, what is this end stream button in the